Well, welcome everybody to this, the 5th edition of Craps Chat Live, a round robin table type show with my co-host Dylan, who's waiting in the green room with some guests already on the Zoom. We'll talk about that in just a minute, guys. Once again, I am Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. Hopefully everything is working well, and I'm going to take a look at a screen here in just 1 second to take a look at, make sure that John is over there on the Zoom side, and he's going to give me the thumbs up to make sure everything's working. Because guys, you know, the last couple of weeks, we have tried to plan this out so that we would be able to stream on both channels, get both chats working, and I actually have to say to my friend John, never met him in person, looking forward to seeing him here in, well, I guess maybe a month or so from now when he comes to the East Coast. John, I can see you on the screen. Give me a thumbs up if the audio is okay. I would really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. All right, looks like we have 6 people. One more trying to get into the Zoom stream. We'll get here in just a second. So you guys on the Zoom side, just bear with us. I got to get through some technical stuff and some wording, and I can't believe that the chat is working the way it looks like it's supposed to be working. Everything looks like it's going to be good tonight. Let's just hope that everything works out for us, because my co-host, my good buddy, my friend Dylan over at Skill and Luck, he's waiting to come on. All right, guys, so if you want to get on the show, in case you didn't know this, what you have to do is you have to go to either one of 2 places. You either go to the crapschat.com website, or you look in the description below, whether you're on Mid-Atlantic Craps or whether you're on the Casino Gaming YouTube channel. The description is in the link below. There's a Zoom link. Click that, and you can come on and join us in the chat. Once we get everybody from the Zoom side on, we'll take care of that. So, to get on the show, once again, description below, or go over to crapschat.com. Big bold print says join the show tonight. If you want to start putting questions into the chat, I see Vince has already started doing that. Put a capital Q, or at least a Q with a semicolon, and I can queue those up for our moderators and our panel that's going to be talking to us in just a little bit. So with that said, if you're going to be in the text chat, please put a Q in front of the question. If you have something else that you'd like to draw to my attention, an exclamation point or maybe a couple big bold letters in the beginning, I'll be watching and following the chat. So now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and head on over to my good friend and my good buddy. That's right, all the way from St. Louis, where he just told me it's raining. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, hey, Dylan, how are you?
Great. How are you?
how'd you like that intro? Did you like that?
Oh, that was great. I'm so happy. I'm so happy and thrilled to be here tonight. We are here at the Craps Chat show, and I can't believe that it's our fifth show. It's our fifth episode, and it's this thing has just taken off like a rocket, and it's a thrill just to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you back again with us. I know you had a kind of busy day today because earlier today you played with Chris from Sideshow Gamble and Vince, who's in the audience, and he's actually he's on the Zoom call as well. You played with him today, and I didn't get to finish watching it because I have a lot of technical things going on here. And real quick, let me just tell people out there, if you're waiting to get in and you're still in the waiting room, I'll be clicking you in just a second, so just give me 1 minute to do that because I'm the host, I'm the producer, and, well, I'm the engineer too. And with the help of John, he's helped a little bit from Pro Craps and Troy today. We've gotten hopefully the kinks worked out. But who won that match between you and Vince today over at Sideshow Gamble?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Vince put up the challenge to me again. It was the second challenge to me straight, and I have to say that unfortunately I beat him again.
Oh, you beat! I thought you were going to tell me that he beat you.
No,
I thought you did.
No.
Oh my gosh! I really thought that you were going to say that he beat you. That's really what I expected you to say. Wow.
It was a very tough battle, especially at the beginning. The wheels came off at the beginning for me, and I was playing. I was going to be doing some hybrid stuff, doing the dark side, and the dark side just fell apart, and I just lost. I mean, I did a don't pass. And a lay bet and my lay 9, and it just got utterly destroyed. And when you put down really heavy bets, we had a $2,000 bankroll, but when you put down like 200 and 100 and 150 or whatever on the don't pass, and that gets whacked, it doesn't take that long for that to add up like super quick. So it was like the trend of the table was screaming, "Stay on the light side." So that's what we did, and then so I dug myself out of the hole. Chris did an amazing job. He had this hellacious, very long roll, and it was just. I don't want to spoil everything, but he had a super, super, super long roll. I'd love to have Vince. I mean, I know he's in the chat. I would love to have him come on and talk like this is and welcome to Craps Chat, so I'd like to get his 2 cents, and Sue was funny, his wife was funny, she was in the background, my wife was in the background, of course, and so it was just a fun time had by all. So but fortunately or unfortunately, however the cookie crumbles, I'm still the undefeated, accepting all challenges. So
well,
it was a fun time.
Well, you and I roll it out a lot at nighttime here, and we sometimes play seriously, and then sometimes we get a little rambunctious with our bets, and it's really not realistic. But I really couldn't watch you two today, and I'm looking at these 6 people. I think Vince, I'm looking at him. Vince is shaking. He's doing like this. He's getting all riled up, getting ready to come on the show here with us. Look, he's stretching out right now, and so we're going to bring him on here. I'm going to go ahead and move on over to just a couple of things, guys. Before I bring you into the panel and before we get to the chat, I've been scrolling through the chat, marking a couple questions. I do want to remind everybody, whether you're in the chat or on the panel that's going to get ready to join us on the Zoom call, please be respectful to one another. If you don't agree with somebody, let's be as respectful as we can. We're all ladies and gentlemen here tonight, and let's just do our best to represent this craps community the way that we do. So, without further ado, Skill, are you ready to bring our panel in with us tonight?
Sure.
I wish I had a drum roll. I wish I had a drum roll. All right, let's go ahead and bring them in. Let me go ahead and make sure the audio gets turned on, and we'll see what's going on with them. All right.
The drum roll.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Right.
All right. Let's see. On the upper, I guess be your right, my left. We got Mike from On Point. Mike, give a wave.
Hey,
all right. Thank you.
How
there.
you doing?
In the green screen, he's got his mic muted. He might be away. There's Troy, and he's got some fancy dancy effects going on his table there. Troy,
I'm
welcome.
just playing with filters. How you doing, guys?
All right. All right. See, we got Kevin Farm. He's already wished us, a couple of us, aloha from Hawaii. Kevin, welcome back again. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Kevin, reconnect. And it looks like we have a Joe Smith. Joe, you have to unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Joe, so you can talk to us, because right now it's muted. How are you, Joe?
I am fine. How y'all doing?
All right, we're good.
Great.
I'm going to go.
Great. Good to meet you.
Yep, I'm going to go to next to Vince. Vince, how are you tonight?
Is that Steve Wilkos joining us in the middle there?
No, it's not. It's not Steve. Not that I know of. No, I'm not sure how it's displaying on your screen. But Vince, you didn't hear it probably because I had you muted. I don't know if you had your audio on the YouTube up, but Skill kind of told us what happened a little while ago on the Sideshow Gamble show over there. And we're going to talk about it in a second, and we'll move on to that. And last but not least in the panel right at the moment, my friend, I've never met him face to face, but I feel like I know him like he's been a lifelong friend. It's John from Pro Craps, also bringing us the Casino Gaming TV YouTube channel. And John, tell me that everything seems to be working right. Please tell me.
From what I can tell, it looks good to me. The Zoom, I'm getting good audio feedback. I can hear everybody talking, and I'm monitoring both channels right now on my browser with it muted, and I can see that both channels are working live. I put an alert out to the viewers that are on the Mac channel, your channel, to say, come on over to CGTV, so all the chats can be seen by everybody.
Yep.
And hopefully they're doing that, and we're going to have a good interactive chat session tonight from one channel, and you can see it all, which is kind of the thing we've been fighting with for 2 days now. So just cross your fingers, everybody, that this thing holds together. It's a lot. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of technology at play here, which you and Troy can certainly speak to. But we got Zoom and vMix and Restream and 2 YouTube channels, and 6 guys with different headsets, and oh my God, there's a lot happening. So. That you're pulling this together, yeoman's work, baby.
Yeah, well, John, you know that I've struggled last night. You communicated with me late my time, early your time, and I was having very difficult times with this combination YouTube chat. What I have on the screen right now is how it pulls it from, looks like this came from one side or the other, and this is how the Restream brings it into us. So we still see that Ed from Roll to Win says it looks good from there, and that he put that on one side and not the other. But my software here is pulling both chats in together so that we can see them all at one time. As you know, the last couple weeks we tried this. We didn't have the 2 chats together, but everything seems to be working well. I keep somebody saying hello to Greg. Is 555's here? Is the 5's here? I haven't seen him.
Yeah,
is he here?
He's in the chat.
He's there. Yeah.
Well, Greg, how are you, my friend? I'm glad you were able to join us. I can tell you that on the previous couple shows, I know you've been back now for several weeks now. I've been away on vacation for a week. And I can tell you that every week that somebody has asked where you are, and John and I, mostly John, just said that you're doing well and you'll be back. And I'm glad to see you in the chat. By all means, you can join us on Zoom. You can mute your camera if you don't want to show your face, or just show the cats if you want to. It's okay with us. But you can come on and join us with your voice if you like to. You can go to the Zoom channel and join us. But anyway, guys, I'm just scrolling through the chats here. Once again, if you have a question, put a capital Q. If you want to draw something to my attention, please put some bold letters and I'll see it. These chats are flying in. We're already at about 100 chats already between the 2 channels. With that said, what I want to talk about before we get into any of the questions here, as we're waiting for some more people to come online with us, is I'm not sure where Joe Smith went. Was that it's been a pretty eventful week for myself. I went along with a couple Craps Nation fellas to Atlantic City, and I played with East Coast Craps AC and Ted Berry from Midnight Train 66. I had a very, very good week. And the other two guys, I'll let them speak for themselves. I don't like to talk about other people's play, but I can tell you that I witnessed a 47 roller by East Coast Craps AC on Monday night. He also had a roll in the 30s and two in the 20s that same day. Now, we go to day two. Neither one of us were rolling anything, but we made our money on Monday, and we just had a wonderful time. So with that said, I'm glad to see everybody here. Looks like we have Waylon in the audience as well. Midmo, yo, welcome. I promised you in one of my videos when we talked last week that I would mention you in one of my videos, and lo and behold, the rest of the YouTube community, they did it for me. I didn't get to you, but we welcome you here tonight. So now, with that said, let me switch back over to a screen that I can actually see everybody on the screen with me. All right, let's go around and let's just talk. Joe, you seem to be new. I don't say that I don't know you, but do you use a different YouTube name?
No, actually, I didn't know how to set up a different YouTube name, so that's my real name.
Okay, so on YouTube, it's actually Joe Smith?
Yes.
Oh, well, welcome. I don't know that I've seen a Joe Smith, and I don't want to say it sounds like an ordinary name like, John Doe, but welcome. You're here with us. I'm sure you came from probably either John's channel, Pro Craps, or the Casino Gaming YouTube channel, but welcome aboard. Anybody that's here, any of these YouTubers that are on here right now, be sure you want to like and subscribe to each one of their channels. They are putting out some excellent content. Welcome aboard, Joe. Vince, you are just dying to say something. So say something, Vince.
No, I'm kind of hooked on my Pepsi, so I'm kind of got a sugar high going on. Sorry. Don't mind me.
Well,
just carry on. I'm good.
Not sponsored, right, Vince?
No, we
No.
don't have any sponsors whatsoever with the craps community. Just
Not yet.
Well,
holy crap.
Vince, I'm drinking
I just
some
gotta
pretty-
say one thing, guys. I gotta say one thing. Oh my goodness! I just want to say one thing to Mid-Atlantic Craps, Jeff. It's awesome to see the front side of you, because every time I watch your videos, all I see is the back of your head all the time, and it's just great to put a face to the voice.
Well, I do show my face for about a minute or two in each video typically, but I appreciate that, Vince. I mean, you look at John and me, you think that we were brothers from a different mother here with the way that we got things going on here. So welcome aboard. Troy, before I turn it over, because I want to say something to John, do you have anything you'd like to say with us tonight?
Oh, I don't know. It's been an adventure learning this journey for the last year, so I've been on there. You talking about what we were talking about earlier?
I have not. Oh, no. No, you can go ahead and say that. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just put it, I don't know, there's probably a few people in here that have seen my silly series, Road to 100,000. And I just put the second to the last video in the can, got it uploaded. It's coming out a week from now. And I'm going to do my finale. I'm going to hit 100,000. I'm going to do it live in 2 weeks, I think it is, 19th.
Well, good. The last video I watched of that series, we were at like 37 or 38,000. Where are you now?
It's a grind. There's a few people that actually watch the whole thing. Some people just check in and say hi and leave a few comments, but it's been quite the adventure.
Well, good luck with that, and nothing wrong with plugging your channel here. It's what it's all about. A couple of us are YouTube content providers. We have East Coast Craps AC, who's a friend of mine that we play together locally all the time, and I just met Mr. Smith tonight. So I'm kind of circling around back to you, John, so hang on there. Mike, how are you doing tonight from On Point Craps? Wonderful. I don't know how far are you from 1,000?
How far am I from 1,000 in my bankroll builder?
No, well, okay, we'll take that one first. Did I miss you getting to 1K on the subscribers?
Oh, 1K on my subscribers. I think last I looked, I was at 915.
Oh my gosh! Come on, guys. We can help him. Call your mother, your brother, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle. Let's get Mike up there to the 1K mark. He's really putting out some really good content. Mike and I have collaborated a couple times. Collaborated. Wow, corroborated. Wow, Whew. Collaborated a couple times with some things here. We got some things in the works that we would like to do. But how are you on your 1K bank builder thing?
Well, so yeah, the bank builder is just a kind of ongoing thing to allow people to roll along with me or bet along with me as I roll. It's a half hour of rolling dice. So if you haven't checked that weekly bankroll builder, that's all it is. That's a slow build, pretty much. I've been coming out. I lost a lot of money. I've been building it back up. I'm over 1,000 again, and slowly bringing it up. Since we're talking about channels, John, I've accepted your 3-unit challenge. So I'm doing a series on that, but I'm also starting with the short stack to try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I'm going to see how much I can get. I'm going to shoot to get that $1,000 goal, starting with $225.
Well, that's good. Now let's head down to my friend, my brother from another mother, who I hope to meet sometime here soon. John, how are you tonight? I saved the best for last. Did you see that?
How about that? But I'm doing good. Doing really good.
Good.
Just chilling out. It's nice to like be on the easy side of this broadcast thing. You do all the work, and we can just hang out here and have I was telling Vince I got some Canadian whiskey tonight in your honor. Drinking my swear jar here, representing my friends from the north. So there you go. You have your Pepsi. I got the swear jar. We're pledged. Clink.
Well, it's not Pep. I mean, yeah. Carry on.
Yeah, it's Pepsi, right? Yeah, it's all good.
Where can you get that in the U.S., John?
So I get this. We have a place called Total Wine here in Seattle. It's like the size of a supermarket. It's a liquor store. It's ridiculous. You need like a cart to drive yourself around it. It's so big. And the whiskey section, they have 2 aisles of just bourbon on one side, whiskey on one side. And at the end of that, the end cap is probably 40 feet of imported whiskeys. There's 60 different Jamesons in that place.
That's insane.
It's crazy town.
First time you mentioned it,
it's like
I need to try that. I like the jar, just the jar by itself. I don't care about the whiskey. I want the jar.
Yeah, I bought it because of the jar. I actually went there to buy Angel's Envy Rye, which everybody says you got to try this. It's the best stuff. And I went in there, it was like $96. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to try that today. And I saw the swear jar. I'm like, ooh, that's a cool looking jar. I just bought it because it looked funny, and it's my new favorite. Loving this stuff.
All right. Well, are we going to talk about liquor, or are we going to talk about craps?
Whatever you want, man. It's your show.
All right. Let me switch over to my co-host, Dylan. Dylan, you kind of opened the show up with me. We've been broadcasting now, running whatever that's called here for about 20 minutes. How are you tonight? And do you want to say hello to our people that are on the screen?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm glad that everyone could join us. Welcome to episode 5 of the Casino Gaming TV. Just looking forward to hearing the different questions and stuff and different topics. I would like to have Vince come back on real quick, and I'd like to get his take of what happened today. So
he's been doing this the whole time. All right, we'll give you all just a minute while I go ahead and check some of the chat. Guys, if you have a question, please put a capital Q in front of it so that I can queue that up for a question coming up. I'm already on 12 pages of chats between the 2 channels, Mid-Atlantic Craps and the Casino Gaming YouTube channel, which we're streaming successfully thanks to John over at Pro Craps and all the technology help that I've had to get this thing going. So Vince, go ahead and tell us what happened today. I understand that, there's a rematch in the workings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Jeff, oh, God. There's only one word. There's only one word to describe what happened against that guy over there, your co-host guy. I'm watching you. There's only one word, and that word is discipline, my friend. It's discipline. I did not have that word with me when I was challenging skill and luck. I went in with a really good strategy. I had him. And same thing we do at the casino. We kind of lose out on the discipline when you get a hot shooter. You're up a couple $1,000. You tend to want to stretch it out, maybe go for the gusto. So I made a dumb bet, 600 on the 6 and 600 on the 8, and he rolled a 7 frontline winner and wiped me out. It's all good. It's all good. I won't go there. But all in all, you know what? Skill and luck. He's a tough cookie, man. If you want to challenge any kind of strategy, you just challenge him because he's a tough cookie. That guy.
I've been running my YouTube channel now about, I guess, a little over 6 months, and I met Skill real early. He and I did some late night stuff, and I've rolled with him. He's actually helped my game a little bit. He's actually, you know, I know you don't, Vince, I know you don't believe in DC or DI, but I'm trying to learn anything that betters my game, gives me more confidence I feel is good. But, you know, Vince, one time you told me in a video recently, one of my Magic Mel videos, that you told me that I didn't have discipline, I should have walked. So here you're telling me that I should have discipline, and you didn't have discipline tonight.
It's all in the betting. I mean, money will control you. Money will control you. You can go into the casino. Oh, my goal is to make $200 per session, but then you make $1,500. Then you make $2,000. Hey, you know, let's take 1,000 and let's see what we can do with it. Everybody does it. Discipline is everything.
Well, it is everything.
That's true.
And fortunately for me, I did have some discipline this week, and I'm going to try to get the person that jumped on here last as we circle back around, because I do have some questions we need to get to. East Coast Craps, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Could you please tell this group that's watching, and especially Vince, that you saw me have discipline this past week?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I don't watch much play when I'm shooting of other people the way they bet, and I really don't watch the dice set a whole lot. But what I noticed about Jeff was he would come and tap me on the shoulder. He said, "I bet my limit. I'm out of here."
I did that twice. I did that twice during the week. I had reached a win goal and then some, and then I reached my loss limit twice, and I was actually out of there. So with that said, before we get to the questions, Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I'm not familiar with you. Maybe some of these other YouTube content providers are.
Well, I haven't played the game in a really long time. Life kept me away from it. Kids, all that stuff you're all familiar with. And I'm getting back into it. And I found this fine group on YouTube, and I've been subscribing and following all you guys, and super appreciate all the videos. And you guys have all taught me a lot. And getting ready to jump in with both feet. Tentatively.
All right. Well, welcome.
Almost got my practice table built up, and well, ready to go.
Well, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos. Hold on one second, darling. But my table looks like a craps table, plays like a craps table. But truly, if you were sitting in here, it's sitting right on the other side over here, and it's just a table that looks like it. I call it my studio table, like if you're in a TV studio. So whatever you do at home to practice and to play. To better your game, whether you're trying to, better your throwing, whether you're trying to learn how to set dice, and whether you're practicing strategies. I think we all probably started out with a home set to, do strategies.
Yep.
So go ahead, Dylan.
Plenty of your videos, and
thank you.
Actually, I got most of the ideas for my practice table from John's table build videos. Thank you, John.
Yep.
I try and catch John's coffee and craps when work allows me. I'm on the East Coast. I think somebody started to ask where I'm from. I'm from South Jersey, right across from Philadelphia.
Well, we're not far.
I'm going to be in Haddonfield in about 3 weeks. So you know the area well enough.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and I think
my father lives in Clarksboro. My father's in Clarksboro. My stepmother is in Haddonfield. My younger brother's down in Cape May. So I'm going to be over there for about 7 days.
Yeah, I saw your video where you said you grew up in Cape May.
My parents owned a bookstore on the mall down there, believe it or not. So I grew up living in an apartment on top of a bookstore. That was my entire childhood.
Awesome.
There
could be worse places.
Well, Joe, right. as far as table builds go, I like John's table, and he and I didn't know each other at the time, but we bought most of the stuff, our first generation tables, we bought most of the stuff from the same place. And of course, he's giving me some pointers for what he's done here. Just anything you do to build a table. I'll tell you what, guys, if nobody has subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, I should say, to Mid-Mo-Yo, please go out there and subscribe that. I like what he put together in order to be able to practice. It just impresses me that you can start. I started on a kitchen table with pieces of paper as place box sets and kind of work from there. I rolled along with some channels like, Big AZ and Jacob over at Wager Me This. I played along with their videos and stuff, and lo and behold, here it is, a year later, COVID, and here we are doing this thing live here today. So it's great. The other person I'll mention is Crapsmaster Journey. Joe has an excellent real table build. If you want to see somebody put a table together, it is excellent. Real quick, guys, I'm going to pop this out here one more time. If you got a question, put a capital Q. I'm queuing those questions up. We're going to get to those questions in just a little bit. Dylan, did you have something that I cut you off?
I just wanted to hear where Mr. Smith was from. That's because he hadn't said, but that was discovered, so that was cool.
Okay. All right. No problem. So we'll go ahead and head on over to some of the questions here. I'm just scrolling back through the last minute here. I think I'm going to start with my own question. Is that okay? Can I get some shakes of some heads if I can start with my own question?
Sure.
All right. This
you have the
East
mouse,
Coast.
Jeff.
Jeez, Jeff, it's like it's your chat and you think you can
It's
control
almost
it.
like he's running the show here, right?
Yep. This whole show is about everybody. It's not about Dylan. It's not about you. I'm just the voice. I'm just the voice that's putting it together. East Coast Craps and Ted and I. We witnessed something that I know we talked about 2 weeks ago, kind of leads into a question that I have here that I want to talk about. So it's my question. We played on a very busy table, which was a $15 table, where late bets came consistently all the time to the point that I said something to the box lady who actually said something to stop throwing the late bets. Now, when those people left, I'm going to fast forward, then I'm going to back up. When those people left, the box lady actually told me that it's intentional that they do that because they're trying to make havoc on the table and do some confusion within the dealers and so forth.
Yeah.
But the portion that I liked was eventually the box guy, not the stick person. I said the box lady. She was a stick lady, then a box person. He started calling off the bets. He said, no more bets, no more bets. And they kept doing it. And although they wouldn't let the bets play, I'm going to let East Coast kind of maybe continue with what I'm saying here with what aggravated him, because he truly is, when he plays, guys, he doesn't even know I'm at the table. He's concentrated on what he's doing, which is how you should be. And when I go over and tap him on the shoulder, sometimes I actually get this look, would you leave me the heck alone? But East Coast, can you kind of like fill in that part, and then we'll have our panel talk about it?
Well, I mean, it was down on your end. There was tons of late bets coming in. And yeah, they're just hectic for the game. And as Jeff said, the box lady got it squared away. But, then we were told later that this group or some people have been coming to their casino and doing that intentionally, as Jeff said. And, I haven't really ran across the intentional stuff like that with people in that respect. I mean, I have with post betting and things like that. But the table, the box lady or the box person handled it well. And they quit and they left. So, they were probably right. It probably was intentional on their part. What they would do is they would throw late bets in and they would get booked. And then they would say they booked something else and hold the game up even longer. And, sometimes they actually got paid on something that I suppose that they didn't have. And I think that was their intent.
I think it was too.
Yep.
So let's go around. Dylan, you've been playing a long time. What do you think of these late bettors? And I call them game interrupters.
Call them what?
Game interrupters. Guys, you aren't going to believe who's getting ready to come into the chat. You're not going to believe it, so I'm just going to leave it there. So what do you think about the people that interrupt the game's skill and that have, that do the late betting and wreak havoc on the table when it's full table?
Right. It is 1,000% done on purpose. Those are shoot people. That's their whole intent, is to cause confusion and for them to capitalize on weak dealers. So I I've seen that at my casino. It's not just, I mean, it's not regional. It's done everywhere. These people think they can get by with murder, and unless they're really called out on it by the box person, the stick person, or other players, they'll continue to do it. And everyone hates it. It's the very lowest form of denomination of cheating. It's basically flat out cheating, because they're trying to do something. They're trying to make late bets, and to book something, and they'll say just weird stuff, and book bets that are not
they're not clear.
Example. Yeah, they're not. They're not clear on purpose. So they'll say like any. They'll throw like $15 out and just say any, or something stupid, something vague, and that's not very specific. That the sick person needs or has to book or what have you, and it's just really it's intentional. They're trying to get by with something. They're trying to cheat, and that's just completely against my character, and I can't stand that. And so, you have all type of people that want to cheat. You have cheaters at cards. You have cheaters doing all different types of stuff on different types of games and stuff. And so, we know it's real money. Okay, we know it's real money, but we're there. You shouldn't have to. There's no cause. There's no rhyme or reason for that stupidity. If they really press their luck that much, I think that they should be, it's grounds for being arrested, because they're really, really trying to fraud somebody. They're really trying to cheat. They're really trying to scam, and that's really what it is all about. That's my 2 cents.
All right. Well, real quick before we get to the other panel, just raise your hand if you want to say something, and that's fine. But you see, Arnell from Dice Grinders, he actually says it happens more often than not. So, anybody in the panel want to chime in on any of your experiences or how you handle that at the table?
I handle it the same way you do. I look right directly at the box man. I said, "You go take care of this."
East Coast,
exactly.
I've known you. I've known you 30 years, East Coast, and you certainly do speak your mind. All right, who raised their hand? Vince, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
There's one solution I learned in the High Roller Lounge. This was at Fallsview Casino. True story. Guy comes in just like that, just does his thing, distracts a lot, ruins the groove on a lot of shooters. The only solution is don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because these guys, the guys that do the distracting wind up losing their shirts, and by saying a comment back to them ensures that they're not going to come and visit anymore. That's it.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on that? How about you, Joe?
I think.
Oh, it certainly doesn't sound like something that would be pleasant. Like I said, I haven't been on a table in a casino for a long time. So kind of disconcerting to hear that somebody would come up and disrupt something like that.
It's just not one person. It was a group of them. Now, I will tell you, and East Coast will tell you this. This is probably, and I don't think Ted's here with us tonight, but this was probably the most I ever saw the ATS ever hit consistently, one portion or another, and all of it hit at 2 different casinos. We were playing at a Caesars property and 2 Caesars properties, and I was surprised to see the ATS hit as much as it was. And I would say, to answer John's question, yes, Greg, I'm letting you back in. To answer John's question, he asked me in a text message, how'd I do and how I get it. John, probably 50% of my winnings that I was up, and yes, I was up considerable from what I took. That came from the ATS winnings. I mean, you're winning 175 pop, and then when you hit both sides of it, and you got 555 out there, I mean, it's nice.
Yep. So I got a good friend who's a dealer. He's a newish dealer, and but to address both of those things, right? First of all, with the late bettors, he says to me at their casino, they don't accept late bets at all. And in fact, he said, everything is a no bet unless you book your bet with your immediate dealer, even your prop bets. Drop your prop bet down by your dealer and say, whatever you want, $5 any craps, whatever it is. Right. They will book it with the stick, or you book it with the stick yourself with your bet on the table. And if you don't do one of those two things, their casino, no bet. And you'll get no betted 6-7 times in a row before they accept it.
I would love that.
They're in control of when they accept a bet. And if they don't accept the bet, people stop making stupid ass bets. And it's got to come to them. I think East Coast has it right. Get to the stick or the box. Are you guys going to keep this up? You can allow this to keep happening, and put it on them that they can't allow that to keep happening. And if they just bet the guy 4, 5, 6 times, it'll go away. And dealers will tell you what they want. And some casinos are a little more assertive than that. And so there's that. And on your ATS comment, I know you guys all hate me. I never played the ATS ever. Never played the ATS. Every dealer that I know says it hits once a day. Once a shift, I might see it get hit. And there's how many rolls in a shift, right? In an 8-hour shift, there's 600 rolls. Or whatever. I'll never play it. Once in a while when I shoot, I do it to give them a tip. Never play it. And that's because I'm not throwing money away. So
typically at my local, I do a 2-1-2, and there the minimum was 5. So I'll most of the time, East Coast and I were just doing 5 on the small and 5 on the tall. But I'm telling you, after you win 5 or 6 of those at 175 a pop, there's no reason why you shouldn't be playing them at all.
Yeah,
and real quick,
I hear you there, but I probably burned, $600 trying for it to win it once, and ain't worth it to me.
Yeah,
to bleed. I'd rather play a table with no side bets at all. Just give me old-fashioned craps. I want Greg's table.
John,
5-5-5 craps table.
You're gonna wind up paying the dealer
for it to win. Yeah.
Let me hold on 1 second, Vince. We'll get right to you. Greg, my friend, welcome. Welcome. I appreciate you coming on. I don't know if you heard what we were talking about. We were talking about the late bettors, and we switched over to the ATS. Hold on 1 second. We'll get right to you. Greg, my friend.
This green light gotta come on.
Somebody's got a YouTube channel on. You need to turn your YouTube channel off. Yes, we're talking about. Somebody's got a YouTube channel on. Just mute your YouTube and stay on the Zoom call. I think
Jeff, good to see you.
Yes, Greg, it's good to see you. So once again, guys, if you're running YouTube, mute it, turn it off, stay right on Zoom if you would. Kevin's going to show us a beautiful Hawaii sunset again, I guarantee you. Greg, it's nice to see you on board. Vince has been raising his hand since before you got on here. My friend, to both of you. Vince, go ahead, and you had a comment to make. I'll get back to Vince. I'll get back to Greg in a second.
Yeah, Jeff, I just wanted to add on with what John said about the all tall small, the bonus traps. When they introduced it, it's a carnival bet. It's the absolute worst bet guys. It's the worst bet in the house. But there's a way to beat that game. John, I know you never see it rolled, but
let me see all my junk, so I gotta leave it.
The heck was that? John, visit any VIP lounge, and I guarantee you're going to see that all tall or the all small being rolled multiple times. But maybe you're just hanging out at the wrong casinos, but that's
I can tell you, John, that we saw it enough times in 3 days that I was surprised, because at my locals, what you said and what Vince says, it's somewhere in between at the locals. But we had it hit, and I'm gonna finish the ATS and the late bets conversation, because we got a lot of good questions I want to get to with this. We had the casino mess up. They didn't turn a 5. And a 7 came out, and we were trying to tell them that the 5 on the small hit the all tall small. And this lady to my left, she had 10, 10, 10 on it. So do 10 times 176 for 1, and you can see what she was due. So they had to stop the play. They had to mark the cameras. We stopped for about 15 or 20 minutes. After about an hour, Ted and East Coast and I quit, we had pulled away from the table. The pit lady came up and she said to us, guys, please don't go anywhere. We think that we might owe you some money. They didn't owe me any money because I wasn't on it at the time. But East Coast will tell you that he was on it and they actually paid him. But it took a while. What I found out later from that same lady the next day is they shut the table down at 1:45 in the morning because the ATS paid out $25,000 in 2 hours. They shut the table down. It was the only table going in this casino.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, Greg, let's go move back over to you. I don't know if you heard the topic. We were talking about late bets and people that interrupt the game and those kind of things. So, welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're back in the craps community. Greg, I gave everybody that's come on the show so far a few minutes to just say something. If you'd like to go ahead and say something, go ahead while I check the chat for some questions.
Okay, I'd like to first address Vince Armenti. He cracked me up the other day. You're going to laugh, guys. He told me he only watches my chats and my live streams to see the cats. And I let him know. I emailed him back and I said, Vince, I don't take it personally. I said, I have one guy who called me who let me know in an email that his wife watches. She doesn't give a lick about crap. She could care less. And meanwhile, she watches my channel every week for the cats. So, Vince, I totally get where you're coming from with that.
That's nice.
All right. That's good. So I do play it, Greg, as a novelty at my local because it's 212. And I think you made a comment or somebody made a comment on one of my posts that I actually take $100 and that's all I play with. And when it's gone, it's gone. And, you could hit seven, come out sevens during a hand and it doesn't last 20 hands. But when it pays, it pays. And I'm telling you this past week, it was sweet. And I mean, really, really sweet.
Well, listen, It's a bad bet there, Jeff. But I mean, if you win it, it's a good bet.
Well, it is, and this past week I won it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is. If you can win 100, what is it, 175? I don't play any of these inside bets, but I mean, come on, guys. If you win 175 to 1, it's a good bet.
Right.
It is a good. Yep.
There are ways to enhance that where as long as you get the outside numbers, and if you got the inside numbers that are remaining, then you can lay against that. And you can, that way you make it a win-win situation. So there's a way that you can.
That's exactly what happened one time, Dylan. Everybody had the 10. We needed a 10 for the all, and we all laid it. And I mean, to see a lay on the 10 was just incredible. And of course, the house knew what we were doing. There were some people at the table that didn't understand what we were doing. And it was, you're losing 200, but you're going to win 825 or 850, whatever it paid. It was a no-brainer.
Exactly. Right. But there's a lot of people that don't understand that though. So
there's a ton of people that don't understand that. They look at you like you're crazy.
Yep.
Most especially on a fire bet table where they've hit the 5-point fire bet and they've set the 6th. I mean, that's just gravy money.
Yep. We're quick. I'm going to run over the instructions again. If you want to get in with the group that's online here with us on Zoom, link is at crapschat.com or in the description below. Whether you're watching Mid-Atlantic Craps or whether you're watching on John's channel at Casino Gaming TV, and if you're in the chat, please put a Q if you have a question. I've fielded some of these chats in here that they were questions but didn't have a Q. It helps me if you put a capital Q before your question. So if everybody's all right, we can move on, and I'll go ahead and scroll back to some of these. To some of these questions that we have coming in. I actually saw a comment just a second ago that was directed towards Greg, and I'm going to try to go back. It wasn't a question. Let me see if I can get over there to it.
Hey, Jeff, while you're scrolling for that, I don't know what question you want to start with. I did write down a few questions, so if I can check them off as you go through them, or I can give you a feeder, you just let me know.
Sure, just hang on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Al. I'm going to put this up here. Greg, I don't know if you want to do this now, but Waylon wants you to tell us about the Winslow story. It's funny, and I don't know that we have enough time for that now, but I wanted to put that out there. Evidently, there must be a hidden joke in there somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, I used to play with this. I had this friend that once in a while we'd play and stuff, and his last name was Winslow. So I always used to tell him, listen, if you can't win fast, Winslow.
That's
I used to
really
goof
quick
on him
too.
about that. You know how we guys are. We break each other's chops most of the
Yeah.
time. It was all good fun, but yeah, that's what we used to say to him.
Yep, I wish I had that little drum roll for that one liner that goes "ba-doom" when you did that. That would have been funny.
Rim shot.
Yeah, rim shot. There you
Exactly.
go. Hey, Mike, go ahead and ask your question, Mike.
Well, so first question I saw was from Rocky, and I heard that I saw that John wanted to reply to this as well. Was what is everyone's stop loss percent? I already know what John's going to say because I listened to his channel enough, but just curious about what everybody else says.
Go ahead, Vince. Go ahead, Vince.
Go ahead.
Your
Go ahead,
stop
Vince.
loss is when you hit 0, when you have no
No.
more money.
100%. Yeah.
True degenerates.
Don't go to the casino with more than you're willing to lose.
Yeah, I do have a stop loss, guys, and as AC said, it's typically somewhere between 30 and 50% of what I take. But it depends how far I travel. If I'm going to Vegas, the stop loss is a lot higher. If I'm going to go to my backyard 25 miles from here, it's 20 to 30%. I think it all depends on where you live and how far you travel and how many times you play. I'll use an example like George from CY. He only gets to play a couple times a year in an actual casino. So somebody might play differently that doesn't have a casino. 5 casinos, within an hour.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Can I feel this one?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Generally, my rule is whatever I want to play in that particular session, I'll have it in the rail. Now, a lot of times I'll take $2,000 with me, and sometimes when I shoot it out, I'll show you. I'll keep $1,000 chip on the table so you know I have it. But if I'm willing to play with that 1,000, I am willing to go to 0. I don't often. But I come with the mindset that if it's in that rail, then I'm willing to play it. Now, if I keep extra money in the back, I want a second bite at the apple, as it were, then that's fine. I could dig into that. But for the most part, I'm a firm believer you don't put on that rail what you don't want to use. So if take my advice on this, if you want to play with 500, then that's what should be in chip form on the rail. Anything else should either be in your pocket, be in the room, not be in your wife's pocketbook, whatever you want to do. But yeah, don't take money with you, and definitely don't put it in the rail if you're not willing to use it. So for me, a good rule, 1,000 out, 1,000 in my back pocket, but I have discipline. If you don't have discipline, maybe that won't work for you, but that's how I do it. So I hope that helps.
Well, it does, because I'm gonna put a comment up here from Roll to Win. Ed wants to know what is a stop loss. That's funny, Ed. Got that coming from you. And you probably don't have a stop loss because you win too much, Ed. Anyway, anybody else want to take a stab at that question?
I saw
Kevin's
Kevin
got
had
his
his
hand
hand
up.
raised.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Unmute, Kevin. Go ahead.
Kevin, unmute yourself. I muted you because you were laughing at your wife a minute ago. Yeah, unmute yourself, Kevin. Your microphone's muted.
There you go.
There you go, Kevin.
Now?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
So, I'm always talking about John, but his rack management, his money management, getting the rack in 4 quadrants, your bankroll, the tip for your tip and all your dollar, your lock up the profit, it's so excellent. Before, you look at Brian's rack, Hawaii Crap Shooters, when he rolls, his rack is a mess, but all of my lessons is from John. He goes, look, man, 4 quadrants, man, bankroll, tip money, and what you're gonna do for that session and lock up the profits. But then when you make $100 or $200, you lock it up. It's not going anywhere. It's going home, and you play with a short stack. So when you have a short stack, you have so much discipline and the mindset, and I learned so much from John. But but don't get me wrong, okay? Everybody has their own methodology and the way of teaching, but it's all good. Everyone's really good on teaching, and we're very appreciative on all your knowledge and your aloha you're sharing with us from the people of Hawaii. We're very appreciative.
Appreciate that, Kevin.
Yeah,
so on that point, it's funny. I spent the last 2 days straight up in my studio filming, and I thought to myself, I'm going to do a bunch of 5-minute videos on how to play the Headless Horseman. right? I spent like 11 hours filming and never got it right because I was messing with my rack the whole time. I'm like, I'm doing this, but my rack ain't right. And I kept refilming the same scene over and over again until I got the chips right because I wanted to make sure the message was clear. But on the stop loss question, Greg says it perfectly. And if your stop loss is 60% of 1,000 or $600, then just buy in for 600 and keep the $400. Let that keep your leg warm. What I do is this. You know me. I always, if I'm playing a strategy that has a per shooter amount, like the Horseman has 4 units per shooter, and I'm going to put 10 units up in the rack. The idea is that all 10 units have a shot to make me a bunch of money. So I'm going to put all 10 units to work for me. Each one of those is a short stack, by the way, and I'll burn all 10, going for, because maybe the 10th one is the one, right? Just like in my short stack, the last chip might be the one that starts to catch a little bit of fire. And that's why I say stop loss zero, not to be like degenerate about it, but it's more like the money that I brought was predetermined to be the money I need to make that money, that 20, 30%. And if I'm only going to do 5 shooters worth, then I got to change my mindset. If I was only going to buy in for half of that. So I buy in for what's there. And when I get into the shorter my rack gets, the more disciplined I get. And I play differently with it, I think. And I think it keeps me mentally focused too. So that's why it's 100%. I'm not trying to go out there and light my paycheck on fire, but it's more about if it's there to do the job, I think. And that's the way my brain has to see that, even if it's $200 or it's $1,000, whatever it is for the day, that's what I'm going to put at risk to make it's the gas money, I guess, right? That my bankroll is my gas money to get my work done. Yeah, it's totally psychological. That's I see Ken saying that.
Yep.
But hey, Jeff, it's psychological not to be a zero for Ken.
Zoom is locked up.
Zoom is locked up.
Oh, is it?
I'm good.
Your audio is still good. Your audio is still good. Yeah, I see things moving. Maybe it's not moving on my screen. Keep talking, guys. Everything's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a comment. I have a comment.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. They're just saying it in the chat that we're locked up on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Agreed. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm seeing it too, guys.
Yep. No problem. Just keep going, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So can I say something? So
yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, wait. I gotta think about it now. No, all this ping ponging. Okay, I got what I'm gonna say. So like John put out this 3-unit challenge. Okay, you try and get 3 units, right? But all of you folks, East Coast, West Coast, Seattle, wherever, you guys have casinos near you. We're coming 3,000 miles away to Vegas. So if I win 3 units, $75, I'm not going up to my room. I'm going to stay. You know what I mean? So it's a different mentality where, yeah, I'm going to win 3 units or my stop loss is 20%, whatever. Hey, I'm not going up to my room with $75 or $100. I'm going to go for the kill because my window is short from Hawaii. We got to attack and leave. But you guys have the beauty of getting the 3 units or your 20% and going home. We have to catch a plane back to Hawaii. So our mentality.
But Kevin, if you did your 20%, so if you took let's say you had 2K and you made 4 $500 sessions with it, and each session in one day, you won 20%, $100 in the first session. You go have some breakfast, you come back, you win another 20% with the second $500. 4 times a day, you've earned $400. That's a whole nother session that you can play in the midnight hours, right? That's how I would look at it if I were you. I would break my trip into multiple small sessions, go for 20% each time, let that build up. And that's how I would approach it. I wouldn't, I don't know, that's just me. If it was me coming and I'm going to be in Vegas in like a month or 2 months or so, whatever. I'm going to Jersey in a month. And the same thing. I'm going there to play for like probably 24 straight hours in AC. And what I've got is what I've got, right? But I'm not going to buy in for $3,000 at the first table, right? That first table session is going to be 600, and I've got 5 of those sessions planned. Hopefully, one of those 5 sessions is going to make me 20% for the trip. That's my goal.
My theory in gambling is, if I'm losing and I'm losing a lot of money, I just grab a couple of black chips from Brian's rack. And I say, "Hey, buddy."
Well, we don't have that luxury. let me jump in here real quick because I think I'm going to point out how John said, and I've got a comment in here that's the question. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. Midmo Yo really wants to know, does anybody really have a 20 or 30% stop loss? I do, playing locally. What John just said, when I travel, if I'm going to meet Kevin in Vegas, my stop loss is going to be higher because it's not the same as playing 3 times a week. And I'm going to let East Coast Craps tell you what he does when he travels and how he plays. East Coast, go ahead and tell them about your little sessions and how you work things out. And we don't want to know about the massage, okay?
Well, as you know, I do like a lot of massages. I'm not a healthy person. When I'm away, I use a envelope system. I have X amount of dollars for each day in an envelope marked with that day's date on it. And I try to play 3 sessions at least a day out of that envelope. Now, when I say sessions, my first session will be between 6 and 7 in the morning, hopefully with nobody on the table. And I will shoot 3 times and 3 times only. And win, lose, or draw, I leave, go get something to eat, and then I play another session, the same thing. 3 times, I shoot 3 times. And I try to do that 3 times a day. Any profit that I have from that day goes into the last day's envelope. And I continue to do that until the last day. And then the last day I count up that envelope. I take out half of the profit. If there is profit, I take out half of the profit. And then I adjust my bets accordingly to that last day's envelope. So for an example, if I was playing 22 inside, 44 inside, 66 inside the previous days, and I have 50% more in my last day's envelope, I will up my bets accordingly for that last day, for those last 3 sessions. And then I come home, and I do that over a long period of time. You know, I've been doing that for years. It's totally different. The guy from Hawaii and John have touched on this. When you have people like myself that play locally multiple times a week, that's a whole different ball game than people that, like from Hawaii, who go and play 2 or 3 times a year. I go to Atlantic City about every other month for 3 or 4 nights. I go to Vegas once or twice a year, but I play locally multiple times a week. So there's total different strategies, and it's all bankroll management. It is all bankroll management. When your bankroll is low, your overall bankroll is declining, you bet smaller to build a bankroll back up. And when your bankroll is full or your bankroll is really nice, then you adjust your bets accordingly. And that's how I always try to put myself in a position to take advantage of a longer hand, no matter if I'm playing 22 inside or if I'm playing 154 inside or if I'm playing 330 inside. I'm always trying to get my money off the table as quick as I can and put myself in a position to take advantage of a long roll. And there's big swings in that type of play, but that is in my individual play. And I think that that's what people need to look at, is what works for them. What type of shooter they are, whether they're, a random shooter, a dice setter, whether their SOR is 4 or whether it's 8 or whether it's 10. They need to play to what they know and what they do. People's strategies, I use multiple strategies in a day's time. I'm a trender and I'm a tracker. So I look around the table and I see that, nobody's made over 1 point. There's been 4 shooters and there's not been 1 point made, or there's only been 1 point made. Nobody's made 2. Well, that's the time to come out on the don't after they make the first point. Simple things like that.
Yep.
It's just you have to be able to adjust to what the table is doing. And that only comes from spending a lot of table time and a lot of practice to know your own game.
Yep. Let me jump in here, East Coast, if you don't mind. I play with him enough, so everything he told you is exactly how he plays. I've seen it firsthand. Real quick, East Coast, while I've got you in the chat here, our good friend Ted has joined us. Ted, you probably came in late. We've been talking about you. That's Ted Midnight Train 66 for you Craps Nation guys. He's the one that gets you the gets your all your information about the group. But welcome, Ted. Glad that you could join us. We talked about you enough now. Don't anybody say anything else about Ted the rest of the night, okay? I'm only kidding. Look, Vince had his hand up. So, Vince, you wanted to make a comment a minute ago?
I just wanted to add on to what the gentleman just said. I just wanted to mention that bankroll management is very, very, very important. I know he had mentioned, East Coast Craps mentioned, when he goes out of town, he uses the envelope system where he puts his winnings away and he'll start fresh with a fresh bankroll for that next day. It's the same thing goes with the local casinos. Guys, I live 10 minutes away from our casino. I'm there almost every single morning having breakfast with my wife when we're not working. And I know all about that bankroll management. You know, it actually gets to the point where you bet over your head and you lose control. So what I do is I'll go to my local bank. I don't know if you can see this. It's a bank key. It's a safety deposit box. Sometimes you got to get one. It's only $60 a year. And what happens when you have those wins of 5,000 or more, go put it in the box. Don't tell them, but go put it in there because you're not supposed to put cash in the box. But just put it in envelopes, put it in the box because it helps for the local people for money management. It's very important. That's it.
Right. Yep. All right. Dylan, do you have a comment?
Yeah, let me jump in there real quick. There's a big difference between bankroll and session, and then what it boils down to, with putting everything a hodgepodge and then putting it all together, is you can make your session as big as you want or as little as you want, and then that will help guide you towards what your strategies can be, your bankroll. Of course, you have your bankroll management, and you can set your percentages from 50% to 100% for the stop loss, whatever you fare. But there is a difference between session money and bankroll money, and you've got to be able to disseminate what you want and what you are comfortable with for each session. So like the Hawaiians, they have to have a bigger session, because it's built in that way because they're not there that often, so they have to have a bigger session to allow for that. Is that correct?
He's talking to somebody right now. He was talking to somebody. He's back
but
there.
I think that's basically the big key is that your session money, the growth of it or how big you have it has some bearing on what you can do and what you're comfortable with. So and if you're more conservative, or if you're moderate, or you're an aggressive player, that also has some bearing on it as well. But that's my 2 cents on that.
All right, I think guys, we've been streaming for over an hour already, and you guys know that I say this every time, that when Dylan and I first set this up, we didn't think we'd fill 30 minutes, let alone every show's gone well over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. One show almost went 3. And we have some more questions that are here that I actually want to get to. If you don't mind, we'll move on to the next question as soon as I come back over here to the questions. I just did have it sitting up here, and it just did move. I apologize for that, guys.
Mike said he wrote some down. So
okay, well, I'm looking. I just did have a question. I may have cleared it from the queue. Here's a question that I'm just going to run by and give it some thought. Maybe John can chime in here too. I'm going to put this one up here. This is a question from Biff. He thinks that what we're doing here with our Craps Chat is good, but he wants to know, is there any way that what we thought about moving into some other type of games and talking about those? I'm not an expert on some of the games that he's mentioning here, but I'm the voice and I can moderate just about anything.
That's what CGTV is going to be for, right?
Yep,
that's the whole point, right?
Yep.
Right. It's not Craps TV; it's casino gaming TV. And right now, all my friends are Craps people. My wife calls you all my crappy friends, by the way. So when I say I'm going to Jersey, I'm going to play with my crappy friends. She knows exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, I've got some dealer friends. I've got some people that do other games, and I really want this channel, the Casino Gaming TV channel, to turn into like 24-hour live stream of just random people talking about random games. Because as we know, the live streams are fun and cool, but they hurt the metrics a little bit. And that's why I did this. And I think having some dealers have a show, having a poker show, having some blackjack, and especially I love baccarat and roulette play, tournament style, team play. That's what this channel is going to be. Other games for sure. There might be a BJ chat show that somebody runs that's this, but for blackjack players, which I think would be fantastic. Probably get 10 times the viewership.
Well, John,
so many people play blackjack over craps, but we are the most passionate group. I can tell you that. I've watched other channels and it's different, and other casino games have a different vibe than we have. We have a very interesting vibe.
And a good community. It's an excellent point here, John, to bring up. If people go to the casinogaming.tv channel, they'll get over to the Discord channel, and you've set it up so that each one of those Discord channels, you have each one of the topics. Like you can find Craps Chat in there. And guys, I almost had it working today, so every chat would go into the chat in that box there. I thought I should talk to John about it before I did that, so I didn't do that, but I have that capability. But go to casinogaming.tv. and you'll take you right straight to the Discord channel. Just click the invite button. Come on in. Look at everything that John's doing there. It's early in stages.
That would have been cool.
His vision of where he wants to take this.
I have a question. I have a comment.
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
So what I learned from John is the 1-3-2 progression, but I can also use the 1-3-2 progression in blackjack. It's all about the parlay, right? So I parlay in craps, but I can also parlay in blackjack, baccarat, etc. But then when you're on a roll, you lock it up before you go to the next progression, but lock it up. But all the lessons that I'm learning, you can parlay it to other games in the casino.
What you find, Kevin, is this, and actually I didn't do it. That comes from Craps Down Under. So I've been playing progressions like that. And actually there's a 6-run progression that I play in baccarat, because baccarat is very streaky. Baccarat, you'll get 11 in a row sometimes, not uncommon. In craps, to get 11 like don'ts in a row is almost impossible. It happens, but it's the outlier. You walk by a roulette table and see 10 reds or 10 evens or baccarat with all the bankers coming out. That's where those progressions were born from. And they're made for those games. And Andrew at Craps Down Under started talking about them in craps and said, hey, you can do this in the field, or you can do it on the don't pass. And I started doing it. I'm like, man, that is where it's at. Because, and you'll see this week's shows from my channel will all be about bet level. Because I think that you win this game, you win more money in this game. And Greg and I have had this conversation. We butt heads a little bit on the 4 and 10 thing. I think where you win on the 4 and 10 is bet level, right? Because of the way they pay, the bet, if you can get a bet leveled up through some profit, right? Bet level is the difference maker. Whether it's the 4 and 10 or whether it's the don't pass, you can power press into it like we do. I think that's the difference. And that's how I joke about, I used to make money in baccarat to play craps, because baccarat, kind of a boring game, but you can progress, win $100 in a few minutes, really, and take it to the craps table. So,
but
that's where that came from.
When I'm playing blackjack with all my friends, and I'm always glancing over to the crap table. I'm glancing over to the crap table. They go, hey, get to the crap table already. So I make 100, 200, 300. I make, a couple of black chips, whatever. Then I go over there and I parlay it up to 1,000. You know what I mean? So it's about the parlay, right? Lessons learned that the crap table can transcend to other games.
Totally.
And it's the same philosophy. But what John taught me, get back down to foundation, man. Go 100%. Up and come right back down to foundation, man. Start again, man. Regress it down, man. Thanks, John.
All right, let's
you got
let's
it.
go on.
And I'm going to give you a
let's go
pro
on to
tip here from Greg. I'm going to share some Greg wisdom with you, and Greg can back me up on this. We talked on the phone the other night, and because I was telling him how it is at my locals. At my local casinos here in Washington, they're packed. We have $5 tables here, which is amazing. But I walk in and I go right to the pit, and I have to register with the pit boss my name and phone number because the table's packed and you have to get called. They text you when the spot opens up on the table. Otherwise, you can't just walk up and play here. And it might be an hour before you get to play. Well, and Greg says, so that means that somebody just got their ass kicked. If you get the text, that means somebody just lost, right?
Yes.
I'm like, either you heard a big cheer and then it's your turn to play, or it's just your turn to play. And if it's your turn to play, that table just went south. So come out and don't. Immediately come out and don't. If you get a spot on a table.
All right, guys, if we can move on to another question. This is a question that we've never been asked, but I'm familiar with this question from playing poker many years ago. So, Low Roller Craps asked if any of us have ever, I'm gonna put the question up here, if any of us ever seen a shill at the craps table. And I don't know if I want to, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but it was his first time playing, and they had a shill at Main Street Station, which I'm assuming is in Vegas. Anybody know that? I know they do it in poker, but I don't know if they do it in craps. I would not have any knowledge of that.
I've never seen a shill in a craps. I have
Main Street
hold
Station
on,
is
Kevin.
in part of the Boyd Group, and they're next to the California Hotel. There's a bridge that bridges California Hotel to Main Street Station, but they don't have any show. But at the Circle Hotel, a brand new Circle Casino, they have all kind of dancers by the crap table with skirt, and you're looking at the skirt, you're looking at the dealers, and it's a big distraction. So I don't like to gamble at the Circle because there's too many skirts, too much distractions. But that's the philosophy, to get your mind on the skirt, not at the game. So I'm not falling into that trap, Like I know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to get you off your game, but they're not going to get me off my game. I'm going to focus at the task at hand.
Agent take care of that for you.
Yeah. Dylan, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, the only show that I've seen is the only show that I've seen personally is poker shills, they readily had admitted to me that there weren't enough players, and so they got a cut, or they got paid by the casino for playing poker. So they announced that. So but that's the only. But I've never ever seen or heard of a craps shill person ever.
All right, Vince, you were raising your hand. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, in response to Ken, the Hawaiian gentleman there, can you email me a list of all those places that have all those dancers, please?
Circa the DNBO.
People love that.
I have a comment that I think you guys are gonna find very funny, but I don't know what a shill is. SHILL. So I had to Google it, and it's a accomplice of a hawker, gambler, or swindler. So I thought you guys were talking about shows, but I didn't know what a shill is. SHILL.
Yep, the actual house the house puts somebody into the game, so the game happens. In poker, it happens a lot. They'll actually take a dealer that's on break and stick him in there so the game won't break up. But go ahead, Vince. Go ahead with your comment.
Speaking about shill, I don't know if this counts, but Sue and I, when we used to sit at the baccarat tables in 2013, there's a lot of people that would bet in behind. They used to go behind you. Hey, can you put this chip on the player or put this chip on banker? Mm-hmm. What I do was I used to put the chip in my chip tray, and I would write it down on a piece of paper. And if they lost, I say, "Oh, you lost." Would I qualify as a shill?
No, I don't
sound like a bookie.
Yeah, that's what you sound like, a bookie. Greg's got his hand up. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I play primarily in Atlantic City and Biloxi. And I could tell you, if just from knowing the personnel that I know, Atlantic City doesn't employ shills. If you go and ask, they will be very upfront about it. Now, I don't know about poker room. I don't play poker room, but I'm talking on the casino floor. I'm talking about blackjack, craps, baccarat. They don't employ them. And if you ask, they will be more than forthcoming with that information. So I haven't run into a situation in either of those two places where I saw any. I'm just putting that out there for you.
All right. All right, let's see. Did somebody else have a comment before I go on to the next question? Because I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of time on that question. It was just unusual that somebody talked about a shill in craps. I've actually seen it in poker. So let's move on to
Ted notes in the comments that not shills but coolers for sure. You'll see a cooler all the time from the casino, but not a shill, which is kind of the opposite, I suppose, right? Not trying to drum it up, but trying to cool it down.
A cooler, C-O-O-L-E-R, cooler, like like your beer.
That's
cooler.
right, a cooler. Yep, gotcha. Like bringing somebody in to buy in mid roll while somebody's going off on a hot streak. I'm sure that East Coast has experienced that when a 47 roller, if some random person comes along and tries to buy in, that's normally a casino cooler coming in to break up the rhythm, or the late bettor. Sometimes they're there at the table, not betting, and then they're going to be the late bettor so they can screw up a rhythm. That the casinos will certainly employ.
Now, I've talked to a couple of dealers about that, and both conversations, they deny it straight down. That
they will,
casinos
you know what?
Not do coolers. Maybe
they will
dealers
say that all the time,
aware.
but the minute I see that, my dealer tips come down.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. All right, guys, I think that's enough on the show. We're actually going to move into another question here, which is, does somebody have something? Dylan, did you want to say something before I move on?
I just think the biggest cooler is the casino itself.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I played in a lot of casinos in Vegas locally, and where you get 8-10 rolls deep, and all of a sudden you're not doing anything right. You can't throw in the hook anymore. And you got to hit the wall harder, and you're taking too much time setting the dice, and I think that's the biggest cooler. They don't need to hire coolers. They already are coolers.
Yep. Go ahead, Vince. Let's wrap this up. You had your hand up.
I just wanted to mention that Mike had a list from the On Point Crafts. He had a list of questions. If you needed reference to questions.
Yep. I'm actually got a couple here, and I'm going to go back, guys. This I say it every time. We don't know that we're going to go this long, and with a panel this good, and I looked at how many people we had online a minute ago when somebody was talking. It's just incredible that this show is really going as well as it is today. This is our 5th one. It's actually our 6th one because we had a trial in December. But we're going to move on with this question. And Mike, if I got to come back to you, I will. I'm going to go ahead and put this next question up because it comes from Albright Rock, and I'm going to just give me 1 second, guys, because I'm going to have to be able to read the question as well. If I push the right button, here I am tooting my own horn, and then it failed on me. So Albright Rock asks, why do you like to bet on other players on the table and also base your strategies to rely on at least to include them? I almost never bet on others unless to show action in order to throw the dice myself. It's a very good point. I've had, we know somebody that plays in live fantasy craps on Sunday with George from CY. He only bets when he's throwing the dice. So we'll open this question up. It's a kind of a question that we haven't touched on in 5 episodes. So who wants to take a stab at it first?
I'll say something real quick. I'm going to touch on a strategy. So, I go back to like the hedgeless horseman, right? That a strategy like that is designed for the random shooter. So if you're playing a strategy that is focused on that, either, a random shooter rolling a PSO, or you're not banking on that long roll from that. If you're a DI or DC and think you can get yourself a long roll and you're waiting for that random shooter to, just get those quick sevens, maybe you're just a don't player or something like that. I don't see any problem betting on other people. That's typically how I play. When I go, whatever my strategy is, and I set aside my bankroll for that session, it's designed on 10 shooters, not me shooting 10 times. It's 10, random shooters. But I guess there is something to be said too. Like Waylon, I think, is one who says, like, when he's doing his 410 ladder and stuff, he's not betting that unless he's the shooter, because he knows that he can hit the 4 and 10s. So I think it really depends on what your strategy is and how you're running it. But like I said, I bet on other players just because the strategies I normally run are designed around playing with that random shooter.
All right. Anybody else?
Well, we know if John's gonna roll, we know he's gonna PSO a 7 now, so we're gonna bet heavily on the red. Me and Brian's gonna when John has got the dice, we'll put all the money. He's gonna
Up to
PSO.
sevens.
He's Mr. 7, so we're gonna make all our bankroll when John gets the dice. He's called Mr. 7, so
Just dump your rack on the dump pad.
To be fair, if I'm
Dump
slamming
pad.
the dice against the wall from 3 feet away, I'm going to roll 7s. If I'm actually trying, I can get there okay.
Whatever you do, John, we're gonna bet the opposite.
That's great.
Let me address this one.
Go for it,
Go ahead,
please.
Greg.
Yeah, now I know I'm probably the only don't player on this panel here, but the truth is my strategy very much employs other shooters. Because what I do when you're playing the don't is you're expecting things to average out. And I find that they generally average out towards the dark side. So maybe my luck that one particular day is going to be hot. So if I go, I don't want to necessarily be just caught up only in my own rolls. I want to catch a table that's cold, and I want to basically average out. So let's say the one guy goes on a tear of 20 rolls or even 30. I've had I got to tell you something, guys. I've had guys go on a 30 roller and not hit their point. I mean, believe it or not, it's crazy as that sounds. And I made money on them, and they're laughing at me, and they don't realize that they made me money. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. But it's a very different mentality from the dice influencer who thinks that he has, whether he does or not, thinks he has an advantage and doesn't want to play with other players. I call him random roller for a lack of a better term, and the don't player, who myself, I'm looking to play on it. I want to play on a full table, and that's not to hurt people. That's just, I think, the nature of craps. The dice even out over time, and evening out tends to favor not hitting points. You hit less points when that happens. So if you're a don't player, if I could just make this recommendation, go ahead and play on a full table if it's available, but look at the chip counts, make sure that things are going your way. Usually very easy to tell a cold table. So I just wanted to put that out there so you had a don't player's point of view.
Yep.
All right.
Watch my upcoming series with the 3-unit challenge. I think you all be pleased, Greg. It's
Hey guys, real quick.
Just bet on John,
Just a
Like
side note here. Just a side note, we had a comment in the question, comment that somebody said, check out Greg's shirt. So I had to put him on the screen by himself so I could see it. He's actually got a Pro Crap shirt on. Now, John, I wear a 3X. I wear a 3X, John. I got your laminators. I got a coffee cup. Yeah, a 3X, Anyway, enough about that. Did anybody else want to chime in on that topic?
So for me, here's what I say about this. And I hate to categorize people because you just don't know, right? The quote unquote random shooter is as likely to get 30 as they are to get 2, right? They're gonna fall into probability for sure. A person who is an accomplished shooter, Ed from Roll to Win is a good example. I don't think Ed's gonna roll 30 every time. I don't expect East Coast to roll 30 every time. What I expect from a controlled shooter is 8 every time. The controlled shooter's got a rhythm where they're going to hit 8, right? To me, a strategy that works well against 2 shots, that works well against 8 shots, and that capitalizes if it goes to 1,000,000 shots, great, right? To me, a dice influencer of a good caliber is just going to have my random strategy, my regular strategy work more often, more reliably. That's the only difference. I bet on everybody. And I typically bet the horseman is my go-to strategy. I do some other things as well, but I start with that because it does work on the crappy ass rolls that I throw. And if you happen to go off on a 30 roller, I'm still going to make $2,000 on it because it sets itself up to go light on a hot roll. So to me, target them both. I expect Ed to roll 8 every single time, and I'm going to play for that. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the game for that long. I don't expect the random shooter to roll 8, but I'm ready for when they do. I don't like to look at people that differently, but I'm ready for it. I guess that's the way. It's eyes open. I'm not going to avoid people. And because I play the horseman most of the time, I'm always on the don't.
Let me let Vince go.
My default
and then
play is a don't pass, right? And I think for 3 rolls, I'm pure dark side. And then we transition and see what happens. That's just the way I view it.
All right. Let's. I appreciate that, John. Let Vince go, and then I want to hear from Troy and Joe if they have any comments here. We kind of get some other people in here. Go ahead, Vince.
I just want to add on something real quick. Keep in mind you're not psychic. When you travel 2,000-3,000 miles to go to a casino, you don't go with just one strategy, because you're going to get those cold tables, you're going to get hot tables, but then you're going to get tables that roll numbers that do not relate to your strategy. Always have at least 3 strategies in your back pocket, at least 3 strategies to work with and especially for Ken from Craps Hawaii there. When you're going to Vegas and traveling 3,000 miles, it's very disappointing when you play a 3-unit press and then those numbers don't go your way.
But when I travel 3,000 miles, I'll just go to John's toolbox, and that's the cliff notes of all the strategies. So I'll just go to John's toolbox at Casino Gaming TV, and boom, that's my toolbox to Vegas, man. Like down and dirty right there. Just go to his toolbox.
Let's let me just make a comment real quick. There's a couple questions that are coming in for you that are just joining the show. We've been streaming for an hour and a half already. Put a Q in front of your question. Don't make a comment because I can't see it. We're going to try to get to as many as we can. Troy, do you want to add in anything on this topic?
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be afraid of the random roller. Get your money off the table in the first couple of rolls. It doesn't matter if they're a random shooter or a controlled shooter. You've been sitting there at the table for 4 or 5 orbits. You've seen this guy shoot, and it doesn't matter. 2 rolls, get your money off the table, play with the profits, get it paid for. Get that action done.
All right.
But don't be afraid of the random shooter. Prepare for the random shooter. Hope you get a controlled shooter, and somebody's going to go 8 times, 10 times, 20 times, and make you some serious money. But don't be afraid of that short roll.
Let's get a comment from Joe.
Embrace the short roll. The short roll is your friend.
It is. Yes. Yep.
Amen.
Joe, you said you haven't played in a while. You're probably looking to get out to the table at some point. What do you have any thoughts about what you've heard so far tonight?
Well, like Kevin said, I'm building up the cliff notes. I'm not afraid. I think you have to bet on every shooter. That would be me. I would go up to the table and I would bet on every shooter. But I would start with probably a dark strategy, because from what I've watched in the videos and from all my playing on win craps, it always tends to, in the long run, average out to the dark side. So
thank you.
That's my plan to start with anyway. Go up with a dark side strategy that I can maybe work into the headless horseman or
well, you have a couple good people right here.
Depending on what the table's doing.
Yep, you have a couple good people in here that will help you on that dark side. And no, Greg, I'm not talking about myself because I know what you call me. But John's headless horseman is a good dark side, and I thoroughly enjoy watching all of Greg's videos that are on the dark side of it, because in the beginning he and I disagreed. He calls me a light side hedger. He doesn't call me a dark side player or don't. I'm not a dome player. He's right about that. But I will put this out here real quick too, Greg. I want to get with you on the Andre. I do want to get with you. We'll do that later in maybe next week or sometime. But there's a lot of people here, Joe. A lot of great channels in the chat. I'm looking at. There's probably at least 20 content providers, YouTube content providers in the chat. They all have great strategies. And if you don't want to look at the don't, I know some of Whalen's stuff is kind of high up from a bankroll. I can't afford it. I take Whalen's strategies and I scale them down to a green unit instead of a black unit. And I've had success. When I cruised in October, December, I used what I call the Whalen inside. And that was the 5, 6, 8, 9. And it was one of the strategies that I first rolled out for him. Geez, must have been October. I had good luck with that. So there's a mess of strategies, and whoever said you got to have a toolbox, you got to have a toolbox. All right. Anybody else got anything on this topic? I'm going to take that as a no. Yep. All right. Let's take a look here. we're going to stay with strategies here. This is coming from, I'm not sure exactly how you're going to pronounce his YouTube name, but he's actually saying, what's the best strategy that works in the short roll and stay for the long roll? Let me put that up there. Sorry, guys. I didn't know I didn't put it up there. Who wants to take a stab at that?
Strategy. A regression strategy.
Yes. Okay. East Coast says it's a... Yep.
Get your money off the table in 1 or 2 rolls and have your bets paid for, and press accordingly to the profit already in your rack.
Exactly.
All right. All right. Dylan agrees with that one. Anybody else want to chime in here on what's the best strategy?
Yeah.
Go
Check
ahead,
out
Vince.
Hawaiian Crap Shooter, option 70. He has 2 or 3 really good strategies for getting 66 inside set as a foundation in 2 rolls, sometimes 3 rolls, sometimes 1 roll. And I mean, it's just a great way to go.
Nope, true. Go ahead, Vince.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention just a simple correction. Jeff, I know if you visit Whalen's Way Craps channel, I know he shows a large bankroll, but there's a lot of short-term strategies you can actually play. I know he uses a large bankroll, but when you play those strategies, technically you only need maybe $100 to $200 for a session bankroll to play Whalen's Way Craps strategies, because they're actually geared for the short term. He just has that bankroll just for, it's something you keep in your pocket. You don't buy in at the table for $5,000, you buy in for a couple $100 at a time. Do check them out. There are a lot of short-term strategies for quick, you know what I mean?
No, you're exactly right. That's what I said about what I did. He would email me strategies, and I couldn't play them at his level, but I played them at lower levels, and they do work. You take a green chip, bring it down to a quarter chip. When I run those strategies on my channel, I actually have people ask me, can I break it down to a $10 or a $15 table? And I communicated with Whalen for months when I would play his strategies, and he enjoyed my stories from when I would do my trip reports from the cruise ship, because in October I primarily played mostly my hybrid side and his inside the 4-5. I call it the Whalen Way, the 4-5 9-10. But he has so many strategies that are out there that can be scaled down, and I think that you're right, Vince. Anybody else want to say something on this topic?
Greg's got something.
Who?
Yeah, if I may, I want to give Dylan a compliment. I think, well, first, East Coast Crap said regression, and in that vein, I want to say, now I don't play much light side, but Dylan's one hit and down is awesome. You don't want a lot of exposure. And guys, listen, I've told this story before. Whether you like dark side or not, have one in your pocket. Have a strategy in your pocket you can go to. Because I've told stories where I've been on the table and we had 3-4 revolutions around the table without even a come out natural. So meaning that if you find yourself on that particular table, guys, don't be obstinate like I've seen some people do. Have a don't strategy, something simple just to keep in your back pocket. Personally, I don't think you can ever lose with the don't strategy. Just playing them, of course you can lose in a session, but I mean, playing it regularly, I think the don't is the most effective. But if you're not going to play the don't, I think like East Coast Crab said, you go for a regression. Again, I compliment Dylan. I like his one hitting down. He works with some regressions, and keep a solid don't strategy in your back pocket. That's my advice.
Well, Greg, you missed it a couple months ago. We actually had El Toro on one of the first shows, and we talked about what type of strategies. And he actually likes big across and then down fast. And he's been on one of the other shows in the chat, but he actually joined us in here. And we had Big AZ a week before last, and we also had Color Up. Jeremy from Color Up was here last time with us and stayed almost the whole 2.5 hours with us. There's so many videos out there, and I'm going to point to Joe. You probably know these on those channels. And while I'm speaking of Color Up and Jeremy, his channel, I know that he's not pushing it, and he didn't want to push it here, but DiceCon is coming up. John, correct me on the dates, June 19th to the 22nd? 21st in Las Vegas, and you can go to the Color Up Club and get all the information you want, or you can listen to John every morning at my time would be noon or 11, and he'll put it in his little report. Yeah. Yep. So, anybody else want to
Okay.
touch on that before we move on to the next question?
Yes.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I
Just
do.
be aware.
I want to I want to say thanks to Greg for for acknowledging that. My skill 66 is actually it's 2-hit because and I designed it for the how do I say this? The regression is really the answer, but the regression system you have to have a bigger bankroll or a bigger session, or you have to put out a greater amount of risk, I should say, out there to start with, because you have to have something to regress from to. And so the skill 66 was designed, I designed that sucker, is to have the best of both worlds. And so it was supposed to be the best bang for your buck, where the 66 inside, you don't have to have 88 or 110 or 220 or whatever and then come down. It was designed to keep the session money as small as possible, and for then to, and have as low as risk as possible. So you're going from 66, you get your first hit, you add $1, and that's so you're risking 67 for 88. And then once you get that 88 at a $10 table, you bring it back down, you regress everything back down to the minimum, which is 44 inside. That way you get all your money back plus a profit, and you have still money on the table working for you as well. So it's a triple win. It's not just a double win. You get all your money back, you have a profit, and you have money on the table still working for you. So that's a triple hit right there. And you really, for the bang for your buck, you can't beat it. I've worked this stuff to back and forwards, inside out, and I was just it's like how in the world do I get to use the regression system to the best of its ability with the smallest amount of bankroll, and then not killing myself, and then I finally came up with that little formula, and it really was an eye opener. It was really shocking. So I'm glad that everyone's starting to like it. John's had addressed on his channel, so I really appreciate the shout out. But I know that it is a regression form in a way, but it's designed to give you the best bang for your buck in the shortest amount of time.
Hang on just a second. Kevin, I want to address Mr. Newberry's comment here. Somebody put it in there. Greg's channel is 555 Craps. So you can go to his channel, James, and subscribe to him. He just pushed over the 1,000 mark here recently, and congratulations to him. I'm going to put it real quick. I'm going to put another comment up here that's talking about aggression. And this person says he disagrees with regressions aren't even necessary and seem to cater to the impatient. Now, I know that Jay... I guess he has his opinions of how to play, and I respect everybody's opinions about how they play. But I like this type of conversation that Jay puts in the comments, and he kind of mixes it up with us and gets our thought process going to maybe think something that we're missing. I know a lot of times over on John's channel on Coffee and Craps, we're talking about some things, and I don't necessarily disagree with Jay, but as you can see here, here's somebody that talks about regression strategies that doesn't think that they're the right way to go. So everybody's entitled to their opinion. Anybody else out there disagree with any type of regression?
I can agree and disagree with it. It's a bankroll question, right? So let's put it this way. Let's get the numbers right. And I've done this. You all know my numbers. I've done the study. I've put 1 million shooters to the test, right? And after 1 million shooters, you find out that 28% of humans, new shooters, 7 out on the first roll. 20% of the time, it's a PSO by the shooter, not after the point's been set. And almost 50% of the time, it's 2 rolls. Now, if you watch my show enough, you'll know how many times do I PSO or get 1 shot and down, right? I broke the skill 66 like 11 times in a row. You're going to get that, and I am the person that makes the probability work, right? Without me rolling the dice, there's I make everything kind of set almost. But that's the regression problem is that you've got to put more out there than you need. And you're taking that two-shot risk, right? And with two shots, you could be down 66 and then down 66. The third time the person makes their two, you're even in your bankroll. Now you've got to recoup $120 before you're back to even again. So regression in a bad situation, you're going to be fighting in the mud for a little while. If you get the bad roll early, it's all timing, right? If you get the first regression, the first shooter, you're fine. You're going to be rolling along. If you lose the first two, like I always do, it seems like, now you're never going to catch back up again. The question was, what's the best way to attack a bad or a short roll and also a long roll? Regression's one way. A lot of bankroll, you're safe in two shots or maybe one, and then you can press to glory from there. A horseman-ish strategy, not that strategy in specific, but one that's like that where we designed it to be good for 3 rolls against the 7 and then build up. I do the horseman now at a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-4 ratio, actually, or a 4-to-1 ratio rather. So $100 on the don't and $425 or $325 come bets. At that ratio, you're actually in great shape, short and long, to let the thing grow out. So think about a strategy. To me, a good strategy wins in rolls 1, 2, and 3, and also wins in rolls 13, 14, and 15. And I think that's what you're looking for is kind of hit the ends there. Regressions are great, but you've got to have the bankroll to withstand early loss and grow through it. If a regression strategy hits, though, all bets are off, right? You get that 2 hits in the skill 66, and the shooter goes off for 9 more shots. You're going to bank. You're going to double your bankroll because you're starting from 0. You're starting at totally even, and you can press, half press, mid press, whatever you want, and make a ton of money on that roll. But you got to get the first 2 rolls, and I tend to not have a great luck with that. The Butterbird was brought up, which is great. The Butterbird comes out. It's got some early protection on the don't pass side. 2 hits down, and you're done. You turn everything off, and you've locked up a little bit. If you want to go back out there with your change, like Vince calls the chump change, that's a great way to play the Butterbird. I play the Butterbird like that. I'll go at the $25 level, and I'll take my greens down and start playing with reds after that. And you end up being set up for the long one. So I think just knowing the numbers is important, right? 50% of the time, you don't get past roll 3. You got to be aware of that when you're making your strategies and playing them out. But the 50% of the time that a regression works, you have so much green pasture ahead of you on that thing. And that's why the 66 is great, because it does give you the chance to get into green pastures pretty quickly. So just be aware of the risk reward there. That 50% number is real.
Right.
See, but
I've done too many trials on it. It's real.
All of
Go
that
ahead, Kevin.
up and down progression is very hard to remember when you heat up in the moment. But like John just said, hey, give me all my greens and just leave up the red. Then you're at foundation already. Then you don't have to think. Give me all the reds.
Yeah.
If so just I don't have to think. Just give me all my greens, leave up all the reds, and you're back to table minimum. So there's a non-thinking entity. Just give me my greens, leave the red, start again. Right.
On that note, Kevin, you don't want to think. Somebody brought this up, and I don't know if Mike captured it. One of the chats that came through earlier was somebody asking about playing when you shoot versus when you're not shooting. And some people I know don't bet a lot when they shoot. Some of the better shooters actually don't like to bet when they shoot. They just want to throw and not have to think about stuff, which is interesting. Whereas when somebody else is shooting, you can actually put your brain in the game and sort of do a whole bunch of complicated stuff. Do you guys, when you shoot, do you tend to not bet so hard when you're shooting?
Oh no, I do that.
So John, the question that came out was from Sideshow Gambling Acts from Chris. He said, when shooting, do you focus on your rolls or do you focus on your bets?
Yeah,
both.
I feel like if I could shoot good, I would want to bet good, but
I think that's become second nature when you play a lot. You know when you go in, like I know before I get the dice when the person before me is shooting what I'm going to do when I get them. So not that I won't change, but I know what I'm going to start with, and I don't worry about it. I even tell the dealer what I'm going to do next. If I was using skills 66, I would tell them on the first hit I'm going to drop $1, press 22 inside. On the next hit, bring me down to 44 inside. I tell them ahead of time.
Totally.
So
yep.
It keeps especially when I'm shooting, because I don't want the distractions.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Dylan.
The dealers get accustomed to that. The dealers get accustomed to your betting. If you're
100%.
accustomed to that, yeah. If you get accustomed to that, they'll track that. They know how you bet. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matter of fact, on that note, Dylan, when I'm playing the horseman at the low level, I'm doing like 25 and then 3 10s. They always say, "Do you want odds?" And I'm like, because I put my next bet to come like that. I'm like, no, it's not odds. When all 3 of them are set, remind me, and I'll drop the odds down. I put my odds on at the end, and they start within 2 or 3 times they got it. They're dealers. You guys, dealers are freaking smart. They're doing that for 6 people.
Some of them.
I don't know how the hell they do it. I mean, seriously, they're literally tracking everybody's play all the time. They're pretty amazing. The ones that are on it anyway, at least they're pretty good.
But what if you're doing the HP 120 and you gotta lay the back wall for 180, do this and that?
Yep.
They're a mess. Then take it all down.
Well,
then put it back up.
So I had
confusing.
Yeah. I had that with them once. So when I played that, not the one I did this before Brian had the 120, but I was doing the back. So what I do a lot of times when I'm on a roll, I'll lay the back wall for 200 because you got to put 40 on the 4 and 10s. I'll lay the back wall for 200 and I'll tell them that pays 130 minus my VIG. I'll pay them the VIG up front and I'll say that's going to pay 130. And the box will say the first time we have to prove that. Come out 7, they pay all the things and it's 130. I say the next time, can I get a black? And they say, yes, we got it now. Now, what I've done with that same thing is say, I'm going to play the back wall for 200. And I'll tell them when the point gets made, we're going to move all those up to place bets. So we're going to give away the $30. Everything becomes a place bet. And I do Butterberg from there. And I'll tell them I'm going to take the winnings and the bet every single time. And the first time through, I got to train them on that. But then they got it. They know it's 130 on the come out 7. They know it's all coming forward. And they know that I'm going to take and pull every single time. And you get into a rhythm with them, and they're pretty good about it after the first one. As long as the box is knowing what you're doing, they will tell the dealers, and as dealers move around the table, they tell them, by the way, that's going to pay 130. Give them a black, it's okay. And they show the camera. They put it up in front, and the camera sees it, and the next time through, they give me a black every time. So it takes it a hot second, and at a busy table, you may not get that kind of time, but the Fremont, even I think there was 10 people at that table, and we did it one time. It slowed the whole thing down. Everybody got pissed off at me. But then after that, it was pretty quick.
Right. Yep.
You've got to be consistent with your bets. Otherwise, the dealers are going to get confused. It's the random bettors that the dealers spend the most time with, people that are just throwing this out and that out and changing it up every single time. But if you do the same thing over and over, the dealers pick it up pretty damn quick.
Right. I got a question here for Dylan.
I love Midmo Yo's. You got to put Midmo Yo's question up there. That's fantastic.
I haven't put it up here yet because I haven't queued it yet. But this is for Dylan. Joe over at Craps Master Journey. Just real quick question, Dylan. What is your starting bankroll for the Skill 66? That's what he wants to know.
Oh, it's 700 to 1,000. Minimum 700.
Minimum 700. There you go, Joe. That was a quick question, and that was real answered. I'm going to put this question up here for you, John. I can't read it from where I'm standing, but question: how do I tell my wife I know it's our anniversary, but the table is hot? We all need a good joke in here. We're coming up on 2 hours.
Here's the answer to that question. Well, I mean, Midmo Yo's been married for 5 years, so Midmo Yo, you get the F off that table and do whatever your wife says. I don't care how hot that table is. It's 5 years in. She still likes you a little bit. I'm looking at your 28, and I'm like, you know what, baby? We'll see you later. Go play some slots. I'll find you in an hour.
Yep.
Jeff, can I address that question about the regression again?
Sure. Go ahead, Greg.
All right. Listen, don't think of me as a don't player. Think of me as a reformed light side player. Listen, guys, I started like all of you, and I will tell you this. The biggest problem you have on light side is you don't roll long enough. No, there's one. You don't roll long enough. Because if you roll long enough, your bankroll doesn't matter, your house edge doesn't matter, nothing matters. And the fact is, I respect JR because he's been to my channel. He's a very smart guy, and I thank him for the question too. But the thing is, your problem is you don't roll long enough. So if you leave this money on long enough, you bury yourself on the table in bets that die in what I call the elephant graveyard. They don't come down, and then you take 4 steps forward, you get knocked 6 steps back. And before you know it, guys, you hit a couple of PSOs and you're buried. This is why I always push regression, 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 because the problem is you go around the table, everybody's not rolling long enough. So what you do is you build in a regression, you get your money off the table. If you're going to play light side, guys, I think light side has failed. As much as I loved it, I have my fondest memories from it. Light side has basically failed. Loading up the boxes across is going to get you killed over time, because everybody knows there's not really a such thing as a hot table. You get a table and they all lean a little cold, but you may get a 20 roller, and then you may go around again and another guy rolls 15, and you love it, and overall you make money. However, keeping your money long-term on that table without regressing, I think, is a big mistake and a recipe for disaster. And I don't care if you're a dice influencer or a random roller, or you differentiate, get your money off the table ASAP. You're not going to go 15, 20 rolls every time, and you're going to give it all back, especially if you're a presser.
How do we know Greg is right? Because they created a thing called crapless craps, where there is no more dark side, right? If the dark side didn't work, they would have made crappy craps where everything was dark side.
There you go.
But they made the other way of it because they know they're going to suck money off that table all the time. So
there's still a portion.
If light side worked, they wouldn't have made crapless craps.
Go ahead,
There's
Donovan.
still a portion that's dark. There's still a portion that's dark. You can lay.
No, you can't. On a lot of crapless tables, you can't lay.
Yeah, that's in St. Louis that they do that.
Yeah.
They don't do that in most of the country.
Yeah, you can lay at our local crapless table.
I think at the Strat you can lay, but most other places you can't lay on a crapless table, which means there's zero dark side,
which really
sucks.
Yeah. Vince is trying to get in there. Go ahead, Vince.
John, I just wanted to mention to you there's a secret bet at the crapless craps table, and a lot of them will allow it until they disallow it. They have the right to tell you have to stop betting that way, but you can actually lay the 12 all day long at the crapless craps table until they tell you to stop. It's actually a very profitable bet. It's a secret tip.
Do you lay 30 to win 3? Like, what's the lay payment on that?
It's is it 6?
6 to win
is
1.
It 6 to 1?
6 to win 1. Okay.
1. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
600 for 100. A good bet.
Yeah. If they allow it. Yeah.
Plus, and plus, there's a VIG on top of that too. Plus, there's a VIG.
Wow. I just learned something tonight, guys. Thanks. I don't play crapless craps, but with that said, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours. I'll stay here a little bit longer if you guys want to. We'll take a look at some questions. Mike, did I miss a couple? Did I miss a couple of the earlier questions? Mike,
I'm only.
I wished we were on a crapless table Monday, Jeff.
You're right about that. You are.
Yeah. I mean, this this is going to open up a can of worms. This was from Roll to Win. He just asked everybody what their do they believe in dice influencing dice control?
Well, I think with the panel that's here and somebody that left that I don't know who it is, I think we're going to get a mixed reaction. So I'm going to start this off. I'm going to start this off.
But it wouldn't be Craps Chat without that question.
Exactly. You're exactly right, Troy. So I'm going to start this, and I know that I set the dice in many of my videos, and if you've rolled with me big AZ style like I do sometimes with subscribers, then you know that I can't throw the dice. As simple as that. It just doesn't happen. But here lately, I can honestly say, and I think that I've had my swings up and down this past week using techniques that Ed from Roll to Win helped me, and George from CY has shared with me over this period of time. I had the 2 shortest rolls I did have 1 PSO. The other shortest rolls were in the 4 to 5, but I had at least probably a dozen rolls that were 10 plus, and I have to credit my confidence. This is me talking confidentially or confidence-wise. My confidence from that dice set came from the help from Ed and George. Now, with that said, I believe there's something to it. I'm still going to stick to my strategies. All right, somebody else have at it.
Go ahead, Vince.
Go ahead, Vince.
Jeff, I just want to say dice influencers, I believe it. But the reason why I don't bet with dice influencers and dice controllers is the fact that they pinpoint their dice set to roll around 7 different numbers, 7 different combinations on average from an average dice set. But guys, you got to look at it the other side of the coin. There's 36 combinations of the dice. And if you set the dice to roll certain numbers, and if they go off axis, they roll this number or this number, you're limiting yourself. These dice setters are limiting themselves to roll, signature numbers, but they're also still at the mercy of that 7. To me, I think, and I see it all the time at the roll to win tables, they're 100% random. As soon as they hit the floor, they bounce everywhere. And I'm seeing streaks of 90, 80, 60, every couple hours, 30 rolls, 15 rolls, a lot. And I've yet to see those dice setters and dice influencers roll those 20 rolls consistently.
Well, you know, Vince, I'm not looking for 20 rolls. I'm looking for +8. And somebody I just put a comment up there, who can roll 10 numbers 80% of the time. I'm not looking to roll 10 numbers 80% of the time. I'm looking to roll 8 to 10 numbers a portion of the time. And I'm not saying that I'm any better at it than I was 6 months ago, but if it gives me the confidence to sit there and do what I'm doing, I'm going to continue to try to better myself from that standpoint.
That's what I'm looking at. To me, a good dice controller or influencer is going to roll, like James says, 10 rolls or 8 to 10 rolls most of the time. That's what you're hoping for. If that's the case, then hell yeah. But again, I don't change the way I bet typically. I look at, like, I'm going to bet the way I bet. If I'm going right side, my right side play is my right side play. And if a good person is throwing the dice, I'm going to win a few more times, right? I'm going to win more consistently, but I'm not going to change how I bet. It happens to be that Vince can throw the dice great. Cool. I get 2 more hits on my 6 and my 8. That's more money in the bank for me. But frankly, I'm playing for the 7. I know that it's coming. And it's like, you know, I look at, like, that time in the box is this a time, more time spent there. That's all that it is to me. So, like I said, I think a dice controller is less likely to get a long roll in my experience. Dice controllers are going to get 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 20. Great. Random shooter, 2, 2, 2, 60. Right. And to me, I'm playing for the short. I'm playing for the miracle. But honestly, if I'm in the box for roll 6, 7, 8, 9, and the dice controller is getting there every single time, sweet. I'm happy. That's what I'm hoping for. I just feel like my play will play a little bit longer with a good thrower. And like we look at skills, the skill 66 with a dice influencer who's on his game, that's a moneymaker. Right? You're 2 shots down. You got 6 shots to go. You can rack, and go home. That's what it's made for. It's perfect for that if you're getting that guy. So I don't go all in or all out either way. But I do believe that. I think it's possible. I've watched people throw enough to know that it's possible. I know that if I pick up the dice from 3 feet away and I throw them very softly, I will get 5 horn numbers in a row. I'll throw the 3 or the 2 4 times in a row. And I've seen people, Vince does this. Shake them up to make sure we get a random roll, which means if you're shaking them up to make sure you get a random roll, that must mean you've gotten non-random rolls before, right? So there's something to it. I'm not sure what it is. There's something to it. And but I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to bet crazy. I learned my lesson over the years. I'm not going to bet crazy. I'm just going to bet the way I bet and just take 2 extra wins and be happy with the 2 extra wins.
All right.
Temper your expectations, in other words. Temper your expectations.
Yeah. So, Mike, I'm probably going to stop that.
One, Jeff?
Oh, go ahead, Greg. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, listen. You guys know I'm a dark side player. I'm skeptical when it comes to DI. However, I won't go as far as to say it can't be done. I will say that the casino believes it can't be done, because if they believed it, they would put a quick halt to it. I believe that dice influencers often make the casino more money than random rollers because they don't know how to bet. Like, and John just alluded to this a little bit. They have such confidence. They feel like they have that can-do attitude that even when it's going wrong, for whatever reason, that they bet crazy on themselves. They load up. They keep trying. They keep trying to get on the horse. And I believe that they actually, and I have evidence of this, that they make more money for the casino than random rollers. Now, I will say this. I have a lot of people asking me this in emails and on my channel. If you are dice influencing, guys, and it's working, keep doing it. If you're playing the light side and it's working, keep doing it. And that goes for everything else, even if you're playing the dark. I'm not going to shout anybody down or tell them they shouldn't do it. However, if you find that it's not working, then by all means, stop doing it. You know, at any point, even during a session. I want to see all you guys make money. I don't think guys who come out and they swing for the fences and they put more money than they could afford. I think that's what is making the casino, enriching the casino more than they should. But like I said, if you're doing it and it works, personally, I'm skeptical. I don't think it can at least be proven. And I don't think it can be done consistently across the board. Are there people who can? Perhaps. I just don't know, guys. I don't have that evidence in front of me, but I want to see everybody make money. So like I said, do it if it works. Stop doing it if it doesn't. And play safely, and don't bet over your heads just because you think you have an advantage that you either may or may not have. I hope that fairly answers the question.
It does, Greg. And I think, so Jay brought in a question and Jeff put it up on the screen. I think it's worth talking about. Is it cheating or not? And I think it's no more cheating than card counting is. I don't believe card counting. Card counting is you've been given information, use the information given to you to make a decision, i.e. your bet level based on what information you know about. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's not illegal to use your brain, to me, to count what you think is the thickness or thinness of the remaining deck in a blackjack game. If they hand you the dice and say, here's the rules, you get to hold the dice, you get to throw them, they have to hit the surface, they have to hit the back wall, and they have to come to a stop. As long as you're doing those three things, it's not cheating. Now, if you're sliding them and they're not actually flying and landing and hitting the back wall, then yeah, cheating. If you're not hitting the back wall, cheating, right? There's ways to cheat it for sure, but if you're getting them in the air and they land and they hit and they land again, you're fine, right? I've always said, if you can do that as gently and softly, like you're petting a gerbil. Like petting the gerbil is how I throw dice. Like you're as soft, you don't want to kill that thing. Like get them out there as easy as you can. Kiss that back wall like it's your first date.
Throwing cotton balls.
Right? That's 100%. That you do that, and you can find yourself a zone. Good. That's what we're looking for. Just be within the rules.
Well, I will
roll
say
to
that
win. I think you can roll. You can beat the roll to win table. 100%. That table's beatable. If you have any kind of control at all, that table's beatable.
I will say
it's so much different than a real table.
Well, can I say, I don't think it's cheating if they allow you to do it, and they clearly allow you to do it. Card counting, they don't. Yep. And I also think if they disallow it, if they disallow you to
oh, we lost him.
Yeah, we lost Greg.
Greg, we lost because they know you try and rig the outcome, and they don't. They see right now you have their blessing. It's not cheating, but if they ever change the rules and you try to manipulate the dice, then of course you're cheating. I mean, it just depends what you're doing here. Card counting is a little different. I think card counting is you're discerning an edge from the deck. Now they won't let you do it because they know that you'll get an edge over them. I don't think that's cheating either. It's just not allowed to do it. But it kind of gets into the gray area with throwing dice where you're directly manipulating the dice rather than counting what's coming out on the cards. I think there's a different distinction.
To me, it's a perceived advantage. I perceive the deck to have more face cards in it. Therefore, I'm going to bet $100. I perceive my ability to set the dice with 2 6s on top and throw me a 10. I'm going to bet $100 on the 10. It's the same mental decision that you're making.
Well, they
based
allow
on your perceived skill, and they should allow both. Yeah.
Well, Greg, I will say,
I don't like seeing guys get backed off the blackjack table at all. I think that's bullshit when they get backed off the blackjack table. Oh, sorry. First swear word of the night, Jeff. I'm sorry.
We're okay.
2 hours and 10 minutes in and 3 whiskeys. Sorry.
No, you're good. Greg, I will tell you that one of my locals in the East Coast will tell you this. There's a sign. It says you have 5 seconds to release the dice when they're pushed to you and the stick man says dice are out. And they stick to that depending on what shift you're on. So that casino must think there is something to it. And it has nothing to do with the slowness of the game because you could have 2 people at that table. It's the same rule whether they have 14 people at that table.
That's because the
Yeah,
bean
but you know
counters
what?
want rolls per hour, right? That's why.
The
It's
rolls
all about
per
rolls
hour.
per hour.
Exactly, John. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you slow first, well, there's a couple of reasons why they do
It's
this. First of
because
all,
they sweat the money.
well, first
They
they
do
sweat
sweat
the
the
money, like you said. Second is it irritates other players who
Lost Greg again.
believe slowing down the dice is unlucky and it's going to cause. So you have those two combinations. They don't want their clientele upset, and of course, rolls per hour means dollars per hour for them. The more rolls they can get. So when you slow them down, I think if dice control is taking money from the casino, that's probably the number one way it's doing it, is by slowing down the amount of rolls per hour. They don't want that, but they also don't want their other clientele irritated. So yeah, it's probably a combination of things.
All right, Vince, you had a comment?
Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, I just wanted to just let everyone know that they are in fact enforcing that rule, and they are actually banning people for sliding dice on even the roll to win tables. It's been enforced just recently, and so now it's actually a crime where they ban you from the casino.
Yep, you should not slide them, but you can do the helicopter toss and get that horizontal spin on the roll to win table, and they will land and kiss and stay face up. That's legal.
All right. Mike, do we have another question before I go to my questions here?
Airborne.
Yeah, we got a couple more. This one's another interesting one I saw from Badger 87. When we're playing, do we find ourselves getting caught up in the strategies that we are planning to run that we miss, or do we get so caught up in the strategies that we potentially miss the flow of the table? So if we've talked about trends before where you can only catch trends on the backside after they tap them. But if it is trending hot, but you're playing a dark side strategy, and like it happened to me the other week when I was at the casino, I was playing a dark side strategy. There was come out 6, hit the 6 hard way. Are you kidding me? I just lost that don't pass. Okay, I'll come out and don't pass again. Comes out, hits an 8, maybe hits another roll too late. He hits the point again. I probably lost $150 playing the don't because I was sticking to my strategy, but the points kept getting hit. And I actually had to change it up a little bit. But so I guess that's the question. Do you stick to your strategy and lose track of the table trend, or do you try to flow with it?
Well, I put the question up on the screen for those at home. The panel can't see it, but I'm going to read the actual question again. How many of you get caught up with running your strategy that you miss out reading the flow of the table? Anybody? Go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin. Then Vince.
So in Hawaii, we dive for a lot of octopus. That's the he'e in Hawaiian. And for an octopus, you have to see what's out there, camouflage, and do whatever it is to survive. So you have to change it up, do all this and that, but the octopus does whatever it takes and pulls everything from the toolbox, so they live and they're surviving and they'll get killed. So what I'm saying is you have to approach the table, feel it out, look at all the trends, see what's happening, and adapt so you survive and you build up your bankroll and you don't get killed. So do whatever it takes to survive and go home with a profit.
Totally agree.
All right, let me go to Vince, and then I want to go to Dylan.
A strategy, when it comes to strategies, there are just a basic thing that you take to the table. When you don't you don't know what to do, you just bought in and you got all this crazy action going on. A strategy just gives you something to act as a starting point. A lot of times, Sue and I ourselves, we got tons of strategies we can use. Do we use them? No. We always wind up playing the table. If a hot shooter's rolling 9s, we're betting 9s. If a hot shooter's rolling field, we're betting the field. You play the table. But have a strategy, just use it as a reference, something to go to when you're just starting out. That's it.
All right.
Yeah, I can agree.
Let me take this up. Hey, Dylan, before you talk, I'm going to put a question up here from Ken. Some of us will get this. Some of us may not get this. But Ken says, hey, Dylan, brother, you're sitting there so quiet. You look like a stalker. So I'm going to put that up there. And anyway, Ken, we appreciate that comment. Everybody likes a good joke once in a while, so I'll throw that one out there. Go ahead, Dylan, your comments on this topic.
That's funny, but yeah, I couldn't agree more with Vince. You threw me off completely. but yeah, you have to follow the trend of the table. There's always different keys that you need to do. You know, you come in with a game plan. You got to be able to pivot. So if it's not working, you've got to be able to be flexible to change. Um, so there's a billion things that you've got to know, and this is part of the it's part of the skill. It's part of there's skill, there's luck, there's all different things that are involved. But this is not just it's a serious game that we're doing, and so there's a lot of aspects to it, and then another aspect of going full circle here with the dice influence and whatnot, which was just a topic just discussed here, that if you're consistent, okay, so as long as you're consistent as a dice influencer, then you're going to start seeing dominant numbers. And so whatever that dice set is, it could be inside, it could be inside, it could be whatever, there's different dice influencers have different philosophies for different things, but the whole thing boils down to consistency. So as long as you're consistent with whatever you're doing, your landing zone, your whatever, then there's going to show dominant numbers, just like Vince said. And I completely agree with that. And when you follow that, when that trend of the table starts happening, then you have to capitalize on it. And that's just part of money management and discipline, and knowing knowing what to look for. So there's all different aspects of this game. So that's my 2 cents.
Yep. Hold on one second, Vince. We have one more comment coming out. And Dylan, I know you can't see the screen, so I'm going to put it up for everybody else to see because everybody's going to probably start laughing. It's a serious question here, Dylan. The question comes from John over at ProCraps. Do truckers like it when kids do the pull the string to honk your horn thing? Follow up. How about the adults flash their high beams? So we're having a little bit of fun here tonight too, guys. So the question is, he wants to know, do you guys have a fit when the kids go like this and they want you to blow the air horn while you're driving? Come on, Don.
No, we love that.
Yeah,
we love that. No, the truck drivers love that because those kids, when you were a kid and you did that to the truckers, the truckers 90% of the time will do the horn as long as it's safe to do so. So and that generates goodwill towards them, towards the community, towards everything, and whatever, and then you're down the road. So that can influence a kid that, hey, the truckers are cool, and it might not be a bad thing that, hey, 20 years from now, I might want to be a truck driver. It's cool. It's fun. They're having fun. So truck driving can be stress-free.
We got a bit off track there, and it's always good to have humor. If you guys watch my videos, somewhere in there's an embedded corny joke. Vince, you had a comment.
Yes, it's not a comment. It's actually a suggestion for the show. Because I noticed the last few shows that I always see skill and luck, and it looks like he's just put a screenshot there because he very rarely moves. If we could just have a suggestion, just to have his Mrs. Skill come in every once in a while and just maybe give him a big sucker right in the cheek or right on, jump on it. That would be pretty cool.
I can tell you, I have seen Mrs. Skill. She's been on the show before, and Dylan will tell you that we don't talk craps when she's on the show or on when he and I are together. We wind up talking other things, don't we, Dylan? It's never about craps.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's a good point. I didn't want to think that I wasn't giving Dylan time enough to talk. But as you know, guys, we're pushing 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm still good to go. But my co-host here, Dylan, who by the way is the creator of the show, it was his idea. Mike, do we have any other questions I missed before I go to my list? So might have to pick some of these up. And by the way, guys, if you want to send questions for the next show, which is 2 weeks from now, if you will go to crapschat.com, there's a quick little bit link there. It'll take you to a form. You can fill out some questions. Mike, do we have another question before I go to mine?
I got one question that hasn't been answered yet, but before I go, I think I saw Joe Smith wanted to say something.
Yeah, I need to drop off because my day starts early. I just wanted to thank all of you for letting me join, and I didn't want to be rude and just disappear.
Oh, no problem, Joe.
Well, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep, thank you for
Joe.
coming.
Good having you
there, Joe.
I got to get dropped off as well. Thanks, guys.
All right,
it's been
Troy.
a blast.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. I know
gotta
it's
say
getting that
something.
time, guys.
Question up there. I got to call Skill and Luck out because y'all have to know this, right? Skill. I have my own personal nickname for you is the Puppet Master because I think Skill drives around that truck and he's just scheming shit all day long. Like, here's what's going to happen. And he's just got it going. I think you're doing like advanced calculus as you're driving for this show and for strategies. And you pop up everywhere and you always, it's like you wait. You're quiet. And all of a sudden here comes Skill with a great idea. And it's like this great stabilizing idea. You don't get enough credit for that. You don't. Well, I think the work you did on Skill 66, the work on this show, I didn't even know you were working with Vince on that other strategy. There's so much that you've got your fingers into. I think people need to know how much you're involved behind the scenes on the phone with us and in texts and emails with everybody that's here. You're a big, big driving force that I don't think you are vocal about. And I think we need to do a better job of letting people know what's going on there with you. I think you're a driver in more ways than just the literal way. And I think that people ought to know that. And I just want to call you and say thank you. If you haven't subscribed, by the Skill's got his own channel.
Yep.
If you don't know it, he's on our channels all the time. But the Skill and ampersand Luck Craps, get on that channel. He's got good stuff of his own. Plus, he really makes all of us better. He's the guy that kind of raises our bar. So I wanted to make sure that people knew that before we moved on and folks start dropping off.
Mahalo.
Go ahead.
Dylan.
See you, Kevin.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye, Kevin.
Thanks a lot. No. I said thank you, Dylan. I was thanking you.
Mahalo. Thank you, right?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, Dylan, did you have a comment?
I appreciate it.
I was going to plug your channel as well, Dylan, but John beat me to it. But did you have something that you wanted to say?
I mean, I'm just humbled. I have, a good probably 30 years experience or so. I started playing craps back it came to St. Louis in 93, I believe it was. Is when the Casino Queen opened up here in East St. Louis, I believe. And so I was there when on the first inaugural voyage when it actually went out on the Mississippi River. And so
cool.
they would take trips, and you'd go out and come back, and it was cool. Right now it's completely different than what it was when it first originated. And so but anyway, I'm humbled by John and the rest of them. I'm not really looking for I'm not looking for credit or anything like that. I want to share my knowledge and and my love for the game. It's fun, it's interesting, and I get a kick out of it. If I can help, my thing is all just helping people, and that's what I'm here for. And to give my 2 cents, and I'd like to. I don't mind being the co-host. That's what role that I enjoy is being the fly on the wall. Being the extra sidekick and giving my 2 cents, and trying to help. It's always being finding a problem, whatever the problem is, or when the questions. They're not problems, but they're questions. Finding good solutions, thinking outside the box. Just trying different things, and I've got the time, to think about it. When I'm driving down the road,
I've
got time. So, you know, I think it's fun, it's enjoyable, and I get a kick out of it. But I'm not really out here to toot my own horn. You know, that's not what it's about. So I'm
Well,
here to help.
I think, Dylan, I've known you now almost the entire time my channel's been up, over 6 months, close to 7 months now. And you've helped me a lot. I give credit to people that have helped me. I name people all the time in my videos who helped me. So from what John just said, I think that, you may be the quiet mouse in the corner or in the corner of the screen, but you certainly are contributing to this community. And with that said, guys, we're pushing a little farther. And I had another thought I was going to say, and I totally lost it there. Mike, any more questions on your part? I see there's questions here as we didn't get answered, but hopefully what I just did do, John, just for your information, between the two channels, 47 people still watching, 47, and I think that's impressive from the two channels to sit here and watch Dylan sit in the little corner and not say anything all night.
Dan,
Mike, do you have another question?
I just saw Dan's chat. He did not pay me to say that. You guys got to know this. Like, Dylan's one of these guys, and I want to call Greg out for this too, because you guys are all my friends, right? We're all good buds here. And Dylan and Greg are, besides driving things from Dylan would never ask for credit ever. Never. You got to pry it. That's why this is a great venue for us to do that with and for him. But Dylan's the kind of guy, and Greg is too. Greg, they're both personally my moral compass, right? I do a live show every single day. You all know that because you're all there. Things happen in chat, things get said, and I no longer say, thanks, I'll see you in the next one, God bless everybody, and my phone's ringing. And it's like Dylan going, yeah, you know what, you probably shouldn't have said that. Or it's Greg saying, that didn't come off very well. And guys like that keep you grounded and keep you on point are important. And Dylan says, I really don't want to say anything, but I got to let you know. I didn't like how that went. I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. Thank you for that. Because in the moment, as a host, you don't always know what's going on. You might say something that's off color or not realize or whatever. Here comes your friends to make sure that you're on point, Mike.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they do. Right?
That's
so
good.
But they keep you honest, right? And I think besides driving content, Dylan and Greg both are so good. You all don't know what happens behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, there's a bunch of text messages and phone calls and emails going around. And we're all keeping each other honest, and we're trying to grow this thing from the right perspective. I think that you have to know how much I personally, I know Jeff does too, lean on guys like Greg and Dylan as we're doing this stuff, because you got to have that grounding, otherwise you fall through the damn floor, right? And folks that have like love for you as family, like they do, I nothing happens without them. And Vince, I see your hands up. That's kind of the way I had to say that out loud so people know.
Yep. Go ahead, Vince.
I just wanted to say there's a lot of the craps community on YouTube is growing very strong. I just want to let everybody know that I do my part. I've started my YouTube channel back in 2012, I believe. And my goal is, you know what? I'm retired. I don't do nothing. I take my time to promote a lot of the channels. It's great because we got a lot of the rookies starting up, a lot of YouTube channels, and there's guys like Skill, there's guys like Greg, even John, even Jeff, everybody is, we need to get these rookies up there. We need to get them up to par. We got to get them all to 1,000. We got to get them up there because the rookies are the ones that are going to carry on the craps community. 100%. So I know there's a lot of credit. I got to give the credit where credit is due for the tenors, but the rookies keep it going. So I got to give a shout out to all the rookies out there.
Yeah, so I don't have a YouTube channel, but I like how everyone interacts and helps out each other. Like John is moving his pro craps and everyone going to Casino Gaming TV. He does a live with Brian at Hawaii Crap Shooters, but he's trying to live stream and bring his onto. So everyone's helping each other to help us move forward. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And Mike at OPC, the other day, he did a live stream and his crap table was vertical and he was trying to get it horizontal. And chatted him. I said, hey, call John. He can figure that out because he didn't know how to move his table from vertical to horizontal. Hey, Mike, it looked like the chips was gonna fall off the table. It was vertical. But yeah, that's what I had to say about that. Everyone's working together is 2 thumbs up, man.
Yep. No.
Hey
Thank
guys,
you.
can I add something to that?
Sure. Go ahead, Greg.
I think it's just awesome. I don't think this existed a year ago. Guys are coming in and they're shooting to 1,000 right away. Everybody's taking part in the community, and this is probably the friendliest corner on the internet. I love it. Guys are social. They build each other up. They promote each other, and yeah, I think the audience is great. I think the YouTubers are great. I think everybody deserves a little credit. Guys, I think you should all give yourself a round of applause for this because this wasn't here even a year ago. And John, in particular, John's been like my buddy John from Pro Craps. He's just done amazing things but everybody has. I'm not just going to point John out. You pointed out Dylan. I try to do my thing to promote guys. Guys like Waylon came on, didn't know anything about YouTubing. Came in, he's at 1,000. I mean, it's fantastic. You got guys like Mike on Point Craps, and we all help each other. And there's really a fantastic sense of community that just wasn't here. I don't think it was here last June. So I think you guys, everybody deserves a nice round of applause. Keep it up, guys.
Thank you, man.
Keep it up.
Yeah, all right. You know, it's funny, Greg.
The crafts community.
I'm part of a group that
is special.
That I belong to. That's like how to be a good YouTuber, right? And it's this coaching group that give me all this advice, like how to do a live stream better, how to do the technology better. I'm learning a lot of things. And they're like, is your channel growing? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And they said, well, who are your competitors? That was their first question. Like, let's see some of your competitors video. I'm like, I don't have any competitors. All my best friends. And like, okay, give me some other channels in the space. And that's how we approach it. Like, don't see you all as competitors. Like, we're literally, if we lived in the same city, we'd probably all get fired from our jobs because we sit around the fire pit having coffee and cocktails every night talking because we're all such good friends.
Right. Dylan, did you say
it's interesting in our corner of the internet?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, the crafts community is our crafts community is different than anything else. It's different than any blackjack. It's different than any baccarat community. It's different than anything because the crafts community is vocal. The light side players are trained to be fun. It's a community game. It's not, the blackjack's not a really community game. Baccarat is not a community game. It's an individual, and so it's just different. It's just a different mindset, and so that's why with Craps Chat, I thought this was going to be a great idea to bring people in and have an open forum where the community can come in and have fun, and talk and chat and do whatever, because because we're celebrating this special bond that we have and this special game that we play, and it's different than any other game. So that's what I wanted to say.
All right, Dylan, I appreciate that. Matter of fact, I was going to give you the last word because, John, as I'm looking here, we're losing people right and left because we have been streaming for 2.5 hours. Guys, we got to we didn't get to some questions that we had there. I apologize that for the people that dropped off. I'm sorry, but we didn't get some of those questions. For the people that are still here, we got to call this at an end at some point here. And with that, if you take a look in your lower left corner, at least on my screen it is, you'll see Kevin showing us at sundown from the Hawaiian Islands, and that is just an incredible view. He did that last time,
Blow
and
it up.
we certainly do appreciate it. Let me see if I
That's
can do
amazing.
that. So with this, I'm trying, guys. It's just not that quick. Let's see here. I'm trying, guys. John's the pro at Zoom. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Yep.
Wow.
All right.
Nice.
There is
Hawaii doesn't suck. Look at that. That's amazing.
Oh, you know what? You know what just happened? My Zoom just locked up too, guys. So don't go anywhere. The people at home can't see that. Kevin, don't move. My Zoom locked up.
What a great way to
does it
leave it.
when
That's
I do
great.
this.
One of my lifelong dreams is to have whiskey on the beach, on the black sand beach in Hawaii. That's a bucket list item for me.
All right, there it is, guys. The
Kevin and I have
people at
talked
home
about getting a Hawaiian tattoo someday. Look at that view. That's unbelievable.
Yep, that is. Every time I change the screen.
Yeah,
here,
John. John, I'll help you get that tattoo, man.
I'm coming for it. Yeah, I'll, as long as it takes, I'll be there to meet with the shamans, and we're gonna get that thing done. That's gonna be I'm saving my right forearm.
Best tattoo artist on the island, man.
I'm saving my right forearm for my Hawaiian tattoo, man. That's what's gonna happen.
You got it, man.
It did it again, guys. Just give me 1 second on the screen there. The people that are watching, whenever I change that view. This is one of the things that I was talking about earlier that I was having problems with. Look, guys, it's 2 hours and 35 minutes into the stream. You guys have no idea how much time that we put into this. And I say we, I don't say me. We're a team here. Without John's help over at the Casino Gaming TV channel to be able to get this dual stream up, I'm hoping not to stream it on the Mid-Atlantic Craps channel at all. But the way that John's got this thing set up, it's a unique situation here. And to the other YouTube content providers that are in the chat, come on board, come on with us. If you're not a YouTube content provider and you're somebody like Joe that was here a little while ago and Kevin, come on and join the show. You see East Coast here has been quietly sitting. He's probably snoring, knowing him, but he's quietly sitting there. And you don't have to show your face. We just like to have good conversation. So to Mike at On Point and Troy, who left us earlier today. By the way, I didn't get a chance to say, Troy is the maker of the roll track. Well, he's not the maker. He's the programmer of the roll tracker that Craps Nation has out there. George from CY and Andrew at Craps Down Under were the original people, along with one other person. I forget the name. But there's so many people that are behind the scenes in every community that we have here, no matter what your niche is. If you're somebody that starts with a table like I did, or you're somebody that's got a really nice table, I don't know if Jim from Celtic Craps is here, but he's got a nice table. You take a look at some of these tables that are out there. Greg's table is nice. My table is a studio table. If you and John came to play at my house, the three of us, I'm a big guy, but the three of us wouldn't fit in this room. That's how tight my table is in here. So,
Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I use the Amazon box as my backboard.
Hey, I saw the video somebody put up of George from CY. Troy put it in the Craps Nation group. He showed him where he had his briefcase and 2 side pieces of wood on a table. Is how he started. We all started somewhere, I mean,
So my wife buys all kind of stuff from Amazon. I use the Amazon box as the sides and the backboard and make the triangle and all that.
Whatever works for you, whether you're practicing strategies or throwing dice, it's whatever works. Guys, I'm going to have to call it here. I really appreciate everybody that stayed in. If the guys in the chat here in Zoom want to hang on till I get out, I'll talk to you guys. Just say hang in there. And Skill, you know what to do. You need to hang in there. So, Skill, did you have any other closing words before we get out of here?
Well, thank you everyone that participated and came on. We appreciate you being part of episode 5. We are looking forward to episode 6 coming up soon. So please get any topics or any questions. You know what to do. It's go to the Casino Gaming TV. Go to the crapschat.com. Put your question in there. Put a topic in there, and we look forward to seeing you next time in 2 weeks, right here at Craps Chat.
We sure do. Mike, I appreciate you hanging in there, kind of being a semi-paper moderator for us. Vince, I'm glad that you stayed in there, my friend. What I want to know, I got one question. Why isn't Sue there? Why do we have to look at you the whole 2.5 hours is what I want to know.
Sue's got to work in the morning. That's why I'm in the lobby.
All right. Greg, my friend, it's great to see you back here, brother. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Great to see you, Greg.
We love
really
you guys.
Nice to see you.
Everybody, I love you. You're the best, all of you.
Yep. And my friend, East Coast Craps, are you? Well, you're not snoring because I can't hear you. But if you're there, you wanna say good night to us?
Good night, everybody. And that was a great show. Thanks for putting it on, Jeff. And, and I was almost asleep. You were right.
All right, John. Any closing words before I close this thing out?
No, I've said all I got to say. I'll see you all in the morning for coffee and craps.
All right, guys, this is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic
Thanks,
Craps, hosting this show on the Casino Gaming TV YouTube channel. Any of the content providers that are here, you should be subscribed to all of them. Every one of them that brought you some content tonight. You know my closing line, guys. You know what it's going to be. As usual, hey, guys, till next time, be safe and play smart.
Smart.